So respectfully for the Black community, I have a question. So if Trump is trying to defund federal aid for higher education, and he's already gotten rid of DEI programs, which would essentially protect the minority in the workplace, and he is supporting illegal immigrants, which essentially are working, those jobs out in the fields and all those hard jobs that nobody wants to work, what do you think his plan is? Keeping in mind that at one point he said the immigrants were taking Black jobs. What did he mean with that? Are we talking about slavery? Because during slavery times, who were the ones who worked the fields? And if immigrants are taking those jobs, and now the immigrants aren't here to do those jobs, and now you can't get a higher education, who does he expect to go work the fields? I mean, in all seriousness. So should you also be worried and stand up for everything that's happening? Should the Black and brown join forces? Because there is a plan, and it's not just Hispanics, it's not just immigrants, it's not just illegals. It's going to start with us. But the whole goal is to keep the white man here, keep the Blacks and the browns here, and women oppressed.
You know the craziest part, the most ridiculous part about this whole thing is that for about a good several minutes I was talking to you guys and I was on point. Let me let me tell you something. I was on fire. I was on fire. And shout out to to all my folks, to my mods and everything, let me know like, yo, Seji, you do know that there's no sound here. Thank you guys. Let me tell you something. I probably would have went a whole hour plus. I mean, we only lost about a good 5 minutes. It'd be like that. It'd be like that. Ty was like crickets. Shout out to Ty. So let me try to give the Cliff Notes version of what it is that I was saying. Right. The main thing that I wanted to state earlier, um, on top of the much love, respect, and appreciation for any and all people, specifically being here and things of that nature. I also wanted to state the fact that when it deals with rhetoric and content like this, you have a lot of people that want to be disrespectful to Black Americans while at the same time asking Black Americans to, oh, we need you guys to team up with us. We need you guys to specifically be there. What do you think is going to sit up there and happen if we're no longer here doing the stuff that we normally do? You guys are going to be slaves. How is that possible? So Black people don't own farms? Is that what we're like? How would you make this work if you have Black Americans on their own farm, on their own land, toiling the soil, so to say? You know, would you then try to say that they're back in slavery already? They're just doing it themselves? Because it's crazy. At one extent, you got a group of people here that are working the land. Cool, fine, no problem. You want to call it work or whatever it is that you want to sit up there and call it, all right. But then when you want to substitute yourself in order to try to make a stance or to come up with a stance, and you put Black folks directly in there, you say that, oh, but Blacks, if you guys go directly in here, you know it's slavery, right? You know that they're trying to put you directly back into the fields. You know they're trying to bring back the 18, 17, or whatever hundreds. You know what they're trying to do. So in order for you guys not to specifically be slaves, you guys need to protect us. You guys need to stand up. You guys need to speak out. You guys need to fight this problem and or this situation. And I'm like, no, we don't. Not at any point in time do we need to do this, because this is a problem in a situation of your making. We had nothing. We had zero to do with this. To go back to what I said before, and again, people can miss me with the whole thing dealing with the Democrats and the Republicans and which side is the lesser of the two evils. They're both demons in my mind, so that's where I stand. The Black community, because of what we've been indoctrinated into, what we've been fed over the years, the Black community heavily voted directly Democratic. Voting Democratic was not only beneficial in theory for the Black Americans, but it was also beneficial for the other groups directly out there. What inevitably ended up happening is that no matter at what point in time Black Americans try to not just only think about themselves, but think about other people, they get double crossed time and time again. This election showed it. And because a lot of people cannot specifically face their own decisions, because a lot of people can't specifically deal with what it is that they've chosen, how it is that they voted, that brings them directly back to Black Americans, who are the exact same group that tried to tell them, like, yo, if you vote directly with us, things will be different. The same way it was in the Biden administration is going to be the exact same way that it was for you guys, because nobody was specifically putting it to the forefront on the negative effects that were taking place when it deals with Black Americans having to deal with immigration and different things of that nature, and how it has a detrimental impact on the Black community, and how it is that when people happen to place others there, what does that then mean for the original folks that are there? They're going to be displaced. They're going to have to relocate because for a variety of reasons they're going to be pushed out one way or another. And again, this is what tends to happen. So if we don't have the instance of white flight happening in, predominantly Black communities, this is what we tend to get. We tend to get a lot of folks directly coming into the Black community and they start making their businesses, making families, and doing all of these things to push out, not to work with, not to have a formula, a symbiotic bond or relationship with the Black community, but to make that community theirs. That's all they're doing because they don't care about the Black community. So this is why when I specifically look at situations or I hear people like this, I can calmly sit there and look and be like, I don't care about your situation. Because there are Black families that have been pushed directly out of their neighborhoods a variety of ways and a variety of reasons when it deals with people like this pulling up to the scene. Do you think that she's going to come up and protest that? She's going to speak up against that? Do you think that she's going to call out her people for what it is that they're doing specifically, how it is that they're positioning themselves, and how it is that they've been positioned and placed in order to do so? No, she doesn't care. So this is why you have a lot of Black Americans opting out of this situation, not caring about this at all. But it be like that. Just saying. Perfectly imperfect. What is up? What is up? What is up? You said, Seji, nah, you should be at a mill by now. I mean, it be like that. That's what tends to happen when you put out, information. And also in a lot of instances, you have folks that would rather be, more, entertained, in a form of, escapism and things of that nature. I mean, it'd be like that. What happens? The positive part is that I'm still here to make content. So, I really can't complain in a sense. But I'm right there with you. I should at least be at like half. How the original channel was going, but it'd be like that. Also, again, because I didn't specifically have my mic on earlier, much love, respect, and appreciation. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to any and all of those who are currently here. At this moment in time, I wish I could actually put up a marker to let people know, like, hey, during the 8-minute mark, this is where the sound will actually appear when it deals with the video. But I can't do that. So hopefully people will just, decide to fast forward, when it deals with that. But now it's time for some more foolishness. Let's get directly into it.
Skies, homie. I'm on my yacht now, fool. What the gang? Catch me outside, we'll go bang bang.
Let me just rewind that real quick. So you see how young Hector looks, right? Originally, and then he decided that he wanted to put on some locks because I guess that's the disguise is gonna, and I guess with a wave cap, and that's supposed to deceive ice. Okay. The disrespect that be online is ridiculous. Like I couldn't even imagine. I'm trying to figure out what the reverse of this would be. Like this just, it looks ridiculous. But like I said, this is how it is. These people roll up online and they're horrendously disrespectful to Black Americans, and then they expect us to turn around and to try to, do what it is that, they want us to do. I ain't never seen no foolishness. But yeah.
Me outside, we'll go bang bang.
If I laugh during this, is just how I process emotions, somatic therapy, such and such. I don't find any of this funny, but it is absolutely absurd. At what point At what point do we start yoking people up who want to invite us into their confusion about the current moment? Like, how genuinely are you supposed to respond if you're like a student of history, or in my case, like an Afro pessimist and the child of an organizer, an Afro pessimist who's been reading radical texts since like 11? Shout out to Negroes with Guns by Robert F. Williams. It was my first one. Everybody should read it. Very concise, very.
So let me just pull that back. So the reason I put that one directly in there is I wanted to showcase all of the facts that you got a lot of stuff going on here, right? Now, you may be able to zoom in and see the information that is provided directly in front of you. I'm going to go to my side and read this, right? Because somebody brought up a very great point. Because originally somebody said that Latins take up the greater majority. They're now the greater majority when it deals with Georgia. And I typed that in myself, and the Latin population wasn't that high. It was the Mexican population that was high. So this is another reason I wanted to pair up those two videos, because this is some school protest somewhere in Georgia that took place where the kids were like, we're going to sit up there and like run out because, ICE and all this other type of stuff and right? So the information in front of you says this. The Mexican population is the largest, fastest growing subgroup of over 1 million Latino Hispanic residents in Georgia, comprising roughly 57 to 61% of the population. As of 2022, there are over 1 million Hispanics in Georgia, about 11% of the state, with significant concentrations in Metro Atlanta, Gwinnett, Cobb, DeKalb, and Fullerton counties. Key data. Population size. While the total Hispanic population is over 1 million, data from 2018 indicate that over 300,000 to 580,000 residents were of Mexican descent, depending on the survey, representing the largest Hispanic groups. Growth. The Latino population in Georgia surged by 32.7% between 2010 and 2022. Concentration. The highest concentrations of Hispanic residents, largely of Mexican descent, are found in Gwinnett, Hall, Borough, Forsyth, and Cobb counties. Demographics. The Mexican/Latino population in Georgia is very young, with a median age of 26. Key locations. Again, they said over half of these states, Hispanic population lives in about 4 core counties. Key suburbs. Area with high populations, including Norcross, LeBaron, Duluth, Lawrenceville, and the Buford Highway Corridor, Brookhaven / Chamblee, and Dorville. Another area, significant communities are also in Gainesville and Hall County. So again, if you think about Georgia, you automatically think black. You it's automatically in your mind. You're thinking about rap, you're thinking, about style, you're thinking about the culture, right? You're thinking about, different things like, car shows, food, and the slang, right? That's automatically what I envision. Especially if people remember like the 2000s, like that's what you think, that's what you see, that's what you know. Now, not so much. And you have to ask yourself, how did that happen? That's because of all of the political leaders that people have directly voted for, and how those political leaders were never directly for the black communities there, and how they were there in order to divide up or to push out said black communities so that they can have a certain amount of control. This is again what a lot of these political leaders like to do, where if black Americans want to take a stand, they pull scabs out of anywhere and they place them directly into the areas so that they have leverage. So it's like, okay, well, black Americans don't want to vote for me. They want to hold their vote. They don't want to sit up there and listen. Okay, cool, no problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some things to short-term wise benefit another group of people. We're going to place them there, give them things that they specifically need so that we can secure that vote that we need. So whatever population of black Americans don't want to vote, all right, cool, y'all don't matter no more. We're going to put in another population that is going to dwarf the population that don't want to sit up there and vote. And then combined, we'll have the position of power. We'll be directly back in office. Again, that's what they do. People better start paying attention real quick. Like I said, it don't matter how politics is run. Again, politics is run by money. It is run by greed. It's run by deceit. It's run by pretty much everything negative. It's not run by heart. It's not run by any type of logic. It's not run by those who legitimately actually care about the people. Because if that was the case, again, Black Americans would be doing great, because people would actually respect the stance, they would acknowledge the stance, and they would come directly to a table and have a conversation so that we can square some stuff away. But that's not what people want to sit up there and do. They want to try to pull through and make leverage wherever it is that they can. And that's currently where we are. And this is why a lot of what was known to be Black cities, predominantly Black cities, are no longer predominantly Black. But let's keep going.
I don't find any of this funny, but it is absolutely absurd. At what point do we start yoking people up who want to invite us into their confusion about the current moment? Like, how genuinely are you supposed to respond if you're like a student of history, or in my case, like an Afro pessimist and the child of an organizer in Afro pessimist who's been reading radical text since like 11? Shout out to Negroes with Guns by Robert F. Williams. It was my first one. Everybody should read it. Very concise, very prescient for the moment. How am I supposed to respond when like every other video on the FYP is like, how did we get here? How are people capable and willing to do this to other human beings? Like, what are you supposed to do? Especially because not too long ago, the North remembers, y'all let a non-Black academic hop on this app and try to discredit Afro-pessimism. And while trying to do so, inadvertently proves the thesis. A thesis many of y'all don't understand. Many of y'all had egg on your face. Not that I could have responded because she blocked me and a bunch of other Afro-pessimists on this app for some reason. But it's like weird to know that not too long ago, folks were on here saying, no, Blackness does not function as a permanent state of objecthood within our apparatuses, which underpins all forms of exploitation in our current society. And I see people talk about ICE footage being the first time they've seen a I can't believe they're doing this to people. They used to eat us. Not an allegory, not figurative speech. They used to literally consume us, flesh and blood.
So we had somebody that pulled up to the scene, and they were like, okay, so you're saying that we're against white supremacy, but we are cool with ICE? Please tell me we're using more of our minds than this. First of all, I don't even know who you are. At the end of the day, it's you got like a random picture directly up there that 9 times out of 10 is not even you. And then you want to state that Black people are cool with ICE. This is the thing. Black people are, in a sense, indifferent. I want to say that's fair to say. Basically meaning that a lot of Black Americans are like, hey, we're just, staying directly back from this. We're going to mind our business. Due to the fact of so many things that have taken place and things that have gone on, the amount of disrespect that's specifically happening. So, yeah. Oh, wait. You said divide is going to easily wipe who out? Easily wipe who out? Let me. Who specifically are you talking about? Because I guess you weren't here when the previous woman was talking about that because her people are working the farms, that's the reason that Black people are not slaves right now. So I'm a little bit confused. I'm just a little bit confused, because the crazy part is when we get content like this, people want to rah and have an opinion. All right, cool, but so I guess people miss all the disrespect that Black Americans have been getting for the last like several plus years, even before that. Like we got decades. Like I said before, just going by California by itself, you got Black areas that are being assaulted. You got Black areas where matter of fact, let me pull this back up, because it's crazy to me when people come directly up to the scene and don't tend to pay attention at all, right? So now I got to go right back to this, right? So I want you to read this. Who is that? The Arthur person? Hopefully they're actually still here, right? Because you talking about the divide and conquer thing. Luckily, I still actually got this tab. Do I still got that tab open? Actually, I don't. But you can read that directly in front of you, though, along with anybody else. You can read that little bit of information directly in front of you, and you got to explain to me. So where's that divide and conquer that you were talking about? Because clearly, this is talking about how those who are not Black American are specifically attacking Black Americans and their communities? Yeah, let me know. Like, how does that work? Show me the coalition within this. How does that work? Teach me that. Right? Because maybe you can't read it. So let me just read it aloud for people because we had to go over this before. It said feds, Latino gang targeted blacks. Nearly 150 alleged members, associates indicted in Southern California. Hawaiian Gardens, California. Latino street gang waged a racist campaign to eliminate the city's black residents through attempted murder and other crimes, according to federal racketeering indictments unsealed Thursday. 5 indictments charged a total of 147 members of associates of the Varero Hawaiian Gardens gang. The federal and local agencies arrested 63 of them by the early Thursday. United States Attorney Thomas P. O'Brien stated at a news conference. Another 35 defendants were already in custody on unrelated charges. Weapons and drugs worth more than $1 million also were seized in what O'Brien called the largest gang takedown in United States history. The indictment details attempted murder, kidnapping, firearms, narcotics, and other charges related to attacks by the gang, which is predominantly Latino, and mainly operates in Hawaiian Gardens, a city of about 15,000 in southern Los Angeles County. Quote, Varero Hawaiian Gardens gang members take pride in their racism. Let me repeat that one more time. Let me read it real slow for those in the back. The Varero Hawaiian Garden gang members take pride in their racism, in their racism, in their racism, in their racism, and often refer to VHG gang as a hate gang. So they themselves, not the police, not the FBI, the CIA, Interpol, whoever you want to sit up there and call it. Nobody else refers to them as a hate gang. They themselves, the people that initiate, the people that are a part of, the people that started, they consider themselves a hate gang. And what do they specifically do? Predominantly and only go after the black community. Why is that? And they said that the main indictment stated this: VHG gang members have expressed a desire. Let me repeat that again: express a desire to rid the city of Hawaiian Gardens of all African Americans. So what am I missing here? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. So he said, you think showing me some gangish is gonna change anything? Negroes are, yeah, this ain't whataboutisms. See, that's the one thing I love when people want to sit up there and do that. What about? We're not talking about black gangs, because to my knowledge, I've never seen a black gang out here. Now, again, I could be ignorant of a lot of things, but I don't know of a predominant black gang that decides to put themselves in a Hispanic community and be like, yeah, we're about to like rid the city of all of them. Yeah, I haven't read those indictments yet. I haven't read that type of paperwork yet, but we got that here. But you're like, that don't really matter. It don't really change nothing. How could you be cool with what's going on here? And matter of fact, how about you actually care about the black gangs and what it is they're doing in the black? The funny thing is, I've talked about all of that. So what are we talking about now? So now we're just we're just moving the goalpost here. Can't even sit up there and stay focused. Can't just sit up there and just stay directly on one topic. Let me start moving around here. And you were like, yeah, but I really care about this stuff. Okay. Sure you do. Like I said, whatever you say, whatever you believe, however you want to, specifically put it, all I'm saying is that at the end of the day, you got a lot of these folks that don't specifically care about black Americans. And this is like historically speaking. So I'm pretty sure you're going to have something for this as well, too. I'm pretty sure you're going to sit up there and say, but the Democrats, the Democrats are some of the most racist, whatnot or whatever, yada, 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 and all this other type of ha, 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 ha. Somebody said, slow folk, you dumb Negroes are COINTELPRO. We're going to find out in 15 years this is a BS psyop. Somebody said you responded. He was like, my mama is gone. Don't bring her up. Don't do that. All right. What else? What else What else we got? Let me see. Where you at? uh Karamos, what is up? You said Arthur is committed to misunderstanding the issues. Where is he from? The Lord will never know. Like nobody knows. Only the Lord knows. That's the best way I can sit and put it. Because again, this is the main issue, right? It's cool. He's a boxing fan, whatever it is. He got a black image directly up there, something that's not himself. Again, I don't know if he's black or not. What I do know, the fact of the matter is that when you show people proof and you bring them information, they still want to be resistant, right? Going back up to the previous comments, he was like, "Oh, you guys are fine with ICE and what it is that they're doing." Black Americans are indifferent. We're indifferent. We got the right to sit up there and do that because for the longest time possible, we've been dealing with immense disrespect all over the place. We didn't had family that have lost their lives over there in California and many other places because you got gangs just like this deciding that they want to roll up and specifically position themselves in a black community or around a black community, and they want to try to dismantle it that way. Now, notice how he didn't have nothing to say for that. He didn't have nothing to say about how that gang was specifically targeting, and they called themselves a racist gang, a hate gang, and they were specifically targeting the black community. Nothing to say for that though, right? But then he wanted to do the whataboutism. He was like, "Oh, but what about the black gangs that are sitting up there tearing up the black community?" So that also shows to me that you don't care specifically what other people do to the black community. And because you don't care, this is when you want to body block and you want to shift. And you'll be like, "Oh, blacks, why don't you be responsible directly over here? Why don't you guys talk about it and highlight this?" We've been talking about that. We've been highlighting that. You've just decided to be deaf and dumb and not pay attention to any of that. Like I said, just say at the end of the day, it's like, yo, you got family or you're half and half or whatever it is. And that's why you have more feelings and you speak from an emotional standpoint versus dealing with logic, dealing with actual information, black and white, that is directly in front of you. That's all you got to do. Just be honest. Don't come up here and try to switch the narrative, trying to rewrite history. Like that's some wild work. Like I said, y'all clowns want black Americans all over the place to stand directly up and deal with the situation when we sat up there and specifically told people don't do this. Are you mad? Have you lost your mind? Like I said, that's wild. That is wild to me. Like, brother, I would have never thought, never at any point in time would I ever have in my history of life said anything like this about another group of people. Would have even had this thought or this theory. Right? Because normally when it deals with black Americans, we're looking at everybody's like, man, y'all going through the exact same things. It's like we got some similarities, dealing with some stuff here and there. It's like, yo, we should actually, work on some stuff, partner up, come together. We can really, get some things done for the better of all of us. And other groups are like, no, that's okay. Other groups are like, they got it themselves and they've been getting it themselves. But now when everything is falling directly apart, here y'all go coming online, trying to come into these conversations and trying to redirect energies to tell black Americans what it is that they should be doing or shouldn't be doing and how it is that we should be moving. But y'all should have moved a certain way when the election time came, but you opted not to do it because you thought that you were so close to white, right? And look where it got you. Nowhere. So anyways, let's go directly back to, what this woman is speaking.
Our babies as crocodile and alligator bait. They experimented on our bodies. They turned our bodies into wallets, shoes, belts, sold parts of us and revolutionaries as literal souvenirs. But I'm supposed to sit here and feign surprise, confusion with the rest of you? The state could just kill people they don't like now? Now? I had that come to Jesus moment at 6 when Amadou Diallo was killed by NYPD with over 40 shots in his back. Like, we're not people to you. That's the point. We exist in a permanent state of non-personhood. And the convenient thing about that, for white supremacy, for capitalism, is that you only need to do that to one group to figure out the model. If niggas aren't people, then we can make anybody niggas, structurally, functionally, so then they don't have to be people either. But big words for Elmo. Too many neurons you'd have to rub together to get to that conclusion. Doesn't suit your colorblind politics. So we're here, where some of us know this is all happening because black folks are not considered human, meaning they were able to fortify really violent systems using that. They can now extend to whoever. And I have to watch you cry on the timeline about this being the first you actually recognize as a human being. Right. Right.
Right. So before I get directly into what I'm going to read off to you guys, let me just go into what you can consider a response to what the woman that you were able to see was responding to. Because as I told you guys before, I like to try to pair things up so it makes so that it's cohesive, right? So that it makes more sense to those who are watching, right? So let's go to an example of the crying on the timelines about what's specifically going on, even though historically Black Americans have, always faced this.
Us over, you're shooting us all because of the color of our skin, all because we have culture, we brought it here, and we are who we are, and we love it here, and we help people here. That's what we're known for. We help people, and yet we're getting terrorized. We're going through this. Our families are being our babies are literally being ripped from our hands. If someone could please tell me if there's something we can do if there's something we could do to help our people, please just imagine yourself in our situation. Imagine your people are being terrorized. They're being ran over. If you literally cannot have empathy for someone, I don't know what to tell you. You're an evil human being and you need help and you need God. You have no heart, and hell, there's a special place in hell for you. Karma is real and God will take care of them. This is so heartbreaking. I don't know what we could do to help. I feel so helpless. I just want to help with something. I just want this to end. I just want there to be peace like there was peace. I just want that. That's all I want for us.
Right. And you see her tears. And this is not the first time that I've showcased, tears, snotting, and all this other type of stuff directly on TikTok. But the other thing that I happen to say to a lot of people as well is that when it deals with this stuff, it seems very performative. And I want people to, as a content creator, right? What I'm noticing is that you have these folks supernaturally just automatically crying on film, and they're just sitting up here talking. I'm like, so at what point in time did you think to set up the camera? Did you think to position yourself? Did you think to potentially have on a type of makeup, or to have yourself in this type of position so that you can then cry on command and then get out, all of these words? That's how I tend to sit up there and look at it a lot of times, because to me it seems pretty performative, because it's not like you were just walking outside and you were just catching people just doing this naturally. 9 times out of 10, somebody's normally in their car, or they're in the bathroom, they're at home. They're not really in the general public doing this. Again, that I'm just trying to get people to pay attention again. So she wanted to go over what specifically her people have faced. Right. So let me just read a little page out of this book. It says that the white cannibal was unique to the Middle Passage and transatlantic slavery. In addition to literal acts of eating, carving, and cooking flesh, Europeans and American whites developed a culture of cannibalism wherein daily acts of violence, religious conversations, slave seasonings, and breaking, and sexual brutality all fed into the master's appetite for African flesh and souls. Many historical texts on the subject of slavery describe the importance of the process of seasoning for breaking men and women and making them into docile slaves. Elaborating on the culinary connotations of the word season, to heighten or improve the flavor of food by adding condiments, spices, herbs, or the like. I think the physically brutal culture of seasoning to the parallel development of erotic appetites, taste, and aesthetics longing for Black males. The broader understanding of seasonings is important, as it helps explain how institutional processes such as Christian indoctrination, male fraternal love and bonding, and the acquisition of literacy facilitated the social consumption of the Negro and creation of the high cultural premium upon African flesh. Right. So then we go to a little bit down. It says that what is still little acknowledged among scholars, right? Narratives is how the text documents at length give the process of the slaves' social consumption, focusing on culinary rituals, processes of flesh seasoning, and the hunger and appetites whites developed for blacks in context of slave culture. They have another one directly in there. You know, I could matter of fact, this is a quote that they said that was from Geronimo. They said, white eyes are cannibals, a fear ascribed mostly to superstition, binga, and equally savage. And that was from the Apache chieftain Geronimo. Right? I mean, there's a little bit more that I could go into it and read directly from. But matter of fact, hold on. Matter of fact, let me hold on. I got you. Maybe, just maybe, I might not be sending it home enough. Let me go through some pages here. Maybe I could. I'm not going to go on the whole thing about Nat Turner. I ain't going to do that. I'm not going to do that. But as stated before, it's very interesting when folks want to get online and they want to start crying and they want to start doing the, the woe is me and my people and all this other type of stuff. But yet we got history out here dealing with Black Americans. I'm going to have to, try to edit my words. So, bear with me. They said in 1934, whites made Claude Neal, whom they took the life of in Jackson County, Florida. How can I phrase this? Ingest one of his own parts. You can describe that how you want to. Along with another part as well. James McGovern relates to the details of Neal's life taking and anatomy of a Christmas tree ornament. Best way I can put it. Quote, after taking the Negro to the woods about 4 miles from Greenwood, they cut off an appendage. He was then made to ingest. Then they cut off another appendage and he was made to eat that. And they stated that he liked it. They later said that making Neal eat himself, as grotesque as this was only a byproduct of an even more disturbing reality of white hunger and power. The cutting off and forcing of that to take place was a reflection of white male oral fixation upon Black male virility and Black men as a sexual threat. In a different erotic scenario, the white men might have taken said extremity and into various areas dealing with themselves. But in the absence of such imaginative privacy, they used the Black male body as a type of puppet, though which they grapple with, and ultimately subdue their hunger for Black flesh. On the level of ritual, it is not enough to simply desire and want to consume Neal. The ritual is not complete until he eats the evidence of white desire, swallowing his debasement and degradation along with white hunger and erotic fascination. So it's very interesting to me how folks want to get online after not even receiving any of what I read to you, right? She's talking about, babies are getting ripped directly from them. Families, are separated. People are sent back. What I'm hearing is that, hey, people are still alive. People are still fine and dandy. You can still go and find whoever it is, your relative, potentially, your child or whatnot. You can still track them down, right? Everything is still cool. When it deals with everything that I read there, those Black men were no longer here. They were done for. It was pretty much over. And that wasn't just a one and done type of thing. Historically speaking, that's something that's always taking place. Better yet, that's something that still takes place to this day, because that's not something that just goes away. That's something that is innate. That is something that is within the fabric, the DNA of that person. But yet you got people like this that want to get online. What was me, tiny violin, and they want to act like the worst of the worst is basically happening to them. Sweetheart, no, it's not. You have no idea what has taken place. As the woman before her stated, we had our kids as alligator bait, right? Let me just and this is an old picture, right? Because people think that everything ain't real or whatnot or whatever. Like I said, they used to make postcards of a lot of stuff. Right. These are the types of postcards that they would have, where you see the 3 black kids directly up there on the other side of the shore, use this bait, and you see the alligator right there looking at them. But you got folks out here that want to make it seem as though that, things didn't happen. Let's see. Somebody said, "What does this have to do with immigration? Have a problem with Black Americans? And death is coming to an undocumented. Just getting it's not." Okay, I guess I'm not exactly sure what that person was even trying to elaborate directly on. But again, this has to do with the whole fact of the woe is me. Just in case anybody is confused, this has to do with the whole fact of the woe is me and how people are trying to make it seem like that this is just Armageddon. Like everything is just you don't know what's going on. It's just complete chaos, and it's not. It's not. In a lot of instances, a lot of people make chaos for themselves, but they don't want to be honest about the hands, that they put down and how it is that they position themselves and how it is that they didn't want to listen. But yet, other folks out here, Black Americans, are supposed to be made responsible for specifically what it is that they're going through and what's going on. And yeah, I'm not for that nonsense. I'm not at all. We're not playing none of those games out here, right? Let's continue.
Supremacy for capital.
Oh, we already did them. All right. Wait, do we? Yeah, okay. Gotcha. Here's the next one.
Talking to my followers or whoever's watching these videos about how you guys should go out to protest, raise your voice, do this and that, make some change into the world. I'm not talking about or to Black people. Black people are the only people that can sit back and they're allowed to just watch and just sit comfortably in their own spot in safety. Because, hear me the out, they were the first ones to be treated in a disgusting manner. Like every single day they fight for battles. So who should be out there on these streets right now? The people who have caused these problems to the people that are being oppressed. And that also includes Latinos. Because these Latinos, people like me, not me specifically, not me, but there are people that voted for this and they look like me. You all should be cleaning up your even if you didn't vote for that, that's still part of your community and you have to go fight with your community. Black people have had enough and they've been telling us since the dawn of time, and you need to listen.
Yep. She's one of the few that I've seen that have decided to use her platform to call out her own people. Because everybody else, for whatever reason, they were like, "Oh, the blacks, the blacks, the blacks, the blacks, the blacks, the black community, black community, black community." And I'm like, dog, what is y'all problem? I'm like, what is y'all fixation and fascination about wanting to try to pin the black community directly to this, or y'all want to make black community scapegoat or the fall guy directly for this? We don't got nothing to do with this. And no matter how much we bring up information, we can bring up the stats on who specifically voted. We can even list what the president of the United States set up and said, along with many other people. People are still like, no, 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 Black Americans, you got to fix this. You guys are a part of this, because you got to understand, if you don't fix this now, you're going to be suffering this problem, this consequence later. We've always been suffering. We've always had problems in these United States. Ain't nothing new. It's new to y'all, because you thought that being so close to whiteness was going to be your key card, to what? Success, to money, to the Graceland, little house on a prairie. Like, you really thought that you were going to sit up there and make it, and we told you that, yo, you're being used. You're being used, and when you are no longer of use after they're done with you, they're going to get rid of you. And that's what they've been doing for quite some time. But people didn't want to listen. People didn't want to pay attention. Matter of fact, let's just go into how folks who are Caucasian want to add into the situation, and they want to try to also tell Black Americans that this is basically our problem and our fight, and that we need to step up instead of standing down.
Americans saying ICE isn't our problem, you do realize that they're kidnapping Black Americans too, right? And they're just saying, oh, we thought they were African. We thought they were illegal immigrants. And then they will detain you for days, sometimes weeks, so that they can have their way with you in the ICE detention center while they figure out that you're an American citizen.
So I'm just listening to his voice, right? And I'm just trying to figure out, what do you mean have their way with that person? Now, remember, I just read off some things from a book. I'm listening directly to his voice, and I'm trying to figure out, what does he mean have their way? Because I'm like, that's a weird way to put that, right? Because you're only supposed to be, detained. You're in a jail. You probably get your 3 square meals and, maybe a phone call. I don't know, because you're dealing with ICE. But it's like, that's a very weird thing to say. It seems as though that he has an understanding of something, even though he voted directly for the other side, which I'm guessing he's more than likely Democrat. And he's sitting up there trying to give a warning because he has a certain type of insight. Color me surprised on that. How would you have the insight, sir? How would you know anything about that? How would you be able to tap into a thought process to try to give a message like that to quote unquote Black Americans at this time? And the funniest thing is, this is the same type of guy that more than likely never said anything like this when it dealt with, the police shootings that were going on, or anytime that Black men and Black young boys were in custody and they weren't even supposed to be in custody, and they were just being, held because of a traffic stop or because of loitering or jaywalking. He wasn't making no videos talking about that. Oh yeah, the police are basically having their way with them. All of a sudden, when it deals with this situation, now this is when you want to insert this. No pun intended.
In fact, that's exactly what happened to this lady right here. She's an American citizen. They detained her for 2 days and kept her in that detention center. And this is what they're doing with so many people. If you're not white, they will target you. If they just have a bad day, they just feel angry or feel extra racist that day, they'll target you, kidnap you, beat you, throw you in the back of a truck, and take you to some random ICE detention center. There was one citizen.
So, question: if he knows this as a white American citizen, why isn't he doing something about it? These are, in a sense, your brothers. Like, a lot of your brothers, men that look like you, are a part of ICE. I've gone directly over these statistics, but instead of him, doing that, he decides to get online and to try to make Black Americans, oh, you Black Americans, you got to step up. You gotta start shouting from the rooftops. Y'all got to go out there and protest. You got to get the signs, directly back out. You got to be as resistant as possible. You really, all of you guys need to put your lives directly on the line. So what are you doing? What are you doing? You got the whole Taste the Rainbow going directly on, making videos, and you're not putting your body directly on the line. And the funniest thing is, I love the fact that they want to bring up the whole thing about the Somalis, and they want to bring up other stuff. But what happened to Renee Good? I'm pretty sure, listening to your voice, I'm pretty sure you are probably of the same community, right? So why would you not go out there and speak on behalf of Renee Good and her family? and what it is that those two women had to sit up there and suffer, the great loss of life that everybody was able to see on display. And you know, the craziest part is it happened by way of a white male. So again, it all circles back, but yet, you know, he's not really going to budge. He's not going to really make a step. He's not going to really put his life directly on the line, but he will make sure to sit up there and make some videos and do the exact same thing that everybody else has done to black people historically. Hey, black people, y'all need to take responsibility. Y'all need to come directly out here for this. It's not specifically your problem, but it is your problem to sit up there and fix. And if you stand back idly by and allow this to happen, then the same thing is going to happen to you. And historically speaking, this is the face of the exact same guy who has historically done things to black communities from left, right, up, and down in these United States. Okay.
That they actually deported to a whole nother country. And she was a US citizen. This is no longer about left versus right. This is no longer even political. It's just straight up racism against anybody who isn't white. If it was about them not working, then why is ICE showing up to their jobs to arrest them and deport them? If it was about them not paying taxes, then why is ICE using the IRS to find them? And if it was about them not being here legally, then why is ICE waiting for them at their court hearings where they are going to follow the legal proceedings of how to become a citizen here and how to be a legal resident here? It's never been about any of that. It's always been about race. Always. If you're not white, you are their target. Right-wingers, people who support ICE, are white, and they will never, ever admit that it's about race for them. They want anybody who isn't white to be beaten, kidnapped, deported. They want punishment. They want violence against anyone who isn't white. That is their goal.
But Mexicans and many others fought for the right to be considered and called white. So I'm a little bit confused directly on that. I'm a little bit confused, just a little bit confused, right? Let me just see here, right? I just gotta. Oh, he already got packed up real quick. I know I had to sit up there and look directly up. I'm trying to see what the face was. So of course you would sit up there and say that you have some type of problem with the black Americans. Not too shocked, not too surprised, you know. And here I thought that you might have been somebody different. Nope. It had to be the exact same type. Time and time again. I think who packed you up? let, me, let me see something. Oh no, that was Gail. Gail sat up there and backed him up real quick. Got him directly up out of here before he could even start. That's a shame. And this is what I said before. A lot of my moderators still happen to, you know, maybe catch some stuff before I do. Because sometimes I have some tunnel vision directly out there. You know, the one thing that I love so much is when fools want to come directly up and be fools. And again, given the information that I just previously read off, notice how he wasn't trying to rah and speak directly on that in the comment section. He waited or skipped directly over that, or just magically, I just came in here, you know, the first 5 seconds, and you know, didn't want to play that back. Didn't want to go and, you know, listen to that real quick. Like I said, it's funny when people want to skip over their history on the things that they just so happen to do historically. All of that stuff they want to skip directly over. They don't want to hear none of that. They ignore all of that. They be like, you know, I don't know anything about that. I got to do more research. That was so long ago. Who wrote the book? Who is the author? Where did they get their sources? Like, it's all of this stuff. Magically, everybody, you know, needs to be a scholar, right? They need to have done the utmost research, and it has to be peer reviewed, proven, and multiple green checks have to go directly through it. And then beyond that, somebody else has to approve of it and find out if it's factual or not in order for it to be a thing. Like I said, it's crazy how people be moving out here. Ali was like, why does that guy care so much? It be like that. It's 100% like that. That's how a lot of people tend to move. They decide to place themselves into business of which that is not theirs. And I also specifically wanted to showcase this video because I think originally when I posted it to you guys, I only had it was like a 50-second clip, but that was the longer version of the actual video of his whole main point and all of these things. And he wanted to specifically bring up, let me see if I can go back to it, the Somali woman right there. I'm not sure if if you guys were even able to see that whole interaction. Let me just see if I can just do a quick grab real quick and see if I can catch the part, because the way that she was talking was correct. I'm like, brother, I'm like, who put her directly on stage? I'm like, that was not it. They needed somebody else. It was the whole thing with like what was it, rice and bananas or bananas and rice or something like. It was something crazy. I'm like, yeah, that sounds crazy. Let me see if I can potentially find it. Let me see something real quick. Hopefully it's still up there, because that whole clip, is that it? Yep, got it. I mean, I do have the full video, but that's somewhere in the back, and I would have to cut the whole thing, because you have some people trying to really like, is this like AI? This can't be real. Nah, brother, it is real. So we're gonna go directly to the video here. I think I should have space. I don't. Okay, so let me just pull a few videos directly down. We go here and here.
So I'm Somali. I'm proud to be Somali. To me, being Somali isn't just eating bananas with rice. It's a lot. It's like it's an interesting thing. It's very hard to describe what it means to be Somali and what it means to be American, but it's like a cultural fusion. It's kind of like the bananas and rice. You know, people don't really see, like, you know, it's you know, people don't think, oh, you can eat bananas with rice, but that's what it's like to be Somali and American. It's like that combination of banana and rice, but you
all I know is bananas and rice. I didn't even know that was a thing. I know some people have Rice Krispies and cornflakes with bananas and strawberries. Bananas and rice. Learn something new. Learn something I would never try or eat ever in my life. Yeah. And this is the example that guy wanted to show off in the video. Yeah, no. You could have picked somebody else. You could have had anybody else. Anybody else. She was like, yes, it's not, when you think about Somalis, it's not just eating, bananas and rice, but the thing about being, Somali and being, in America as Somali, it's difficult to really express what it is, but it's sort of like bananas and rice. Brother, what? You can't make this stuff up. Like, this is when I first saw this clip, I'm like, this has to be fake. I'm like, somebody had the AI generate this, but it's an actual part of a press conference. And I'm like, who picks these people and put them on stage? That was a poor representation. That was a poor representation. If any moment in time that people want to start talking about like education and all other, this is, people are gonna go directly to this video. People are going to go directly to this video and they're going to have a field day. And this is the video that he wanted to use. The person that he wanted to use, she couldn't even articulate anything. realistically, I don't even care for whatever it is that she actually has to say. This part right here, this is gold. This is going to be a meme for a lifetime. Shout out to the Somalis. Y'all got it. You got it. It's that woman said bananas and rice. Oh boy. But let's continue. Now we're gonna go to one of our favorites that we've seen so many times directly on this platform. And on these live streams, we got the bonnet lady with the stare, real stoic, looking directly into the dead of the seas with her bonnet and glasses and her septum ring. Septum ring theory doesn't fail. Let's see why.
This message is for Black America and Black America only. Y'all remember last year, y'all told me on my main page that ICE wasn't y'all problem and it wasn't coming for y'all. Mm-hmm. We're 23 days into 2026, and I've been tagged on my main page in several videos of Black Americans yelling at the camera and crying that ICE is stopping them and they not checking no paperwork. They not asking who's legal. I tried to tell you. And you ignorantly stated on my page it wasn't y'all problem. Y'all gonna take care of y'all own. Well, y'all own is going through it. What do you have to say for yourself? I told you. We didn't argue with y'all. We just said all the comments we read, send us back to where we came from. Whether it just any kind of foreign Black, just send us back to where we came from. And they treating you the same way, because I told you from day one. A stranger can't tell who's who. If you have melanin, you're subject to get stopped. How do you, like what do you have to say for yourself? I try to tell you.
So I want to note that if you pay very close attention, she said, we tried to tell you, which means that she is not Black American, right? And what seems to happen is that with a lot of these folks, when Black Americans try to tell people stuff, they can't handle it. So they just can't wait to try to be like, oh, it's going to be a gotcha. I can't wait. We're going to sit up and reverse this. We're going to put the exact same energy y'all put directly on. That's why she kept trying to say like, I tried to tell you. It was that exact same thing, because for the longest time possible, they couldn't say nothing, right? But she said that the exact same thing is happening to Black Americans. Like they don't care about the information or none of that, right? So let's just look at what took place where a Black American couple were stopped and questioned by ICE. Let's see if they were put in some type of internment camp or if they automatically got like deported, if they got let's see what happens, right? Because she said the exact same thing is happening to Black Americans, and this is what we get for stepping back and stepping down and not representing everybody else, right? So let's take a look.
Look, I do not like this, and y'all know. They all know this ain't no targeted vehicle. Credit card, debit card, they got my ID. I just got out of jail because they caught me drinking and driving. I ain't drinking today. That's good. Shit, I don't like this. This got me too nervous. I don't know what the hell's going on. Bothering me? Just go. Chill out. Please, we do not need all that. Bro, listen. You born here in Minneapolis? No, Illinois. Man, you see ain't no foreigners up in here. We ain't Mexican, African, none of that. I'm American. I know, so why would y'all even pull me over? You see my
right.
What's going on?
And who is this? Who's this cowboy?
What's going on?
Yeah, don't get back in your motherfucking car.
Good. That's ridiculous. I know y'all know y'all read my plates. That's crazy. These read my place. They really came and tried to.
They done tried to.
Told you.
This is crazy.
This is
crazy.
Yeah, and they came deep.
Wow.
I'm like, Miss Katrina, please don't, man.
Man, I told that mother, you better get the out my face. I ain't giving you shit.
Ain't no target, bitch. You knew that. No, but
right. So even though the camera was kind of low, all of the cars dispersed and the ICE agents were gone. He simply just gave the identification and they ran that and they ran the plates. Everything came back normal. So what again? Are black Americans being just we're just all being they're going through all the black towns, all the black cities, predominantly black, and they're just getting and locking all of us up and they're sending us wherever around where was that? Where was that at in this video? Because I didn't see it. I didn't see it. Now again, they have a a whole thing because they feel a certain type of way about it, and rightfully so. They do have the right to feel. But ain't nothing happened. Nobody bust out any windows. There was no tear gas, no concussion, smoke grenade. You didn't have like a whole Call of Duty SWAT team, Rainbow Six Siege group of 6 pulling up on them and dismantling the car and just locking up everybody in zip ties. And that didn't happen. I didn't see that take place. They just simply gave over their identification like a normal traffic stop, and that was it. That was it. No fuss, no muss. And everybody pulled away. I didn't see a weapon or anything like that get pulled on them either. So yeah. Just saying. That's all I'm saying. This is pretty much the exact same thing that black Americans have gone through. If it's not this, right, then it would be in the form of the police stopping a vehicle because the occupants inside are black, and then they want to decide, you were driving erratically, you didn't have your seatbelt on, your tail lights busted, your car is too loud, I saw you look at me from across the way as if you wanted me or you wanted to ask me something. Like, it's the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing. Like I said, it's some crazy work out here, but you got folks like this one right here that'll get online and she'll be like, see, yeah. Look what's happened to the black Americans. Yeah, that's what y'all get. We try y'all thought that y'all had us on something, but yeah, we tried to tell you. Whatever is our problem is gonna be your problems too, because they can't sit up there and tell the difference between you and us. They can't tell the difference. They can't tell the difference. Okay. Like I said, and they will never pair up videos because they know that destroys that one video destroyed whatever narrative and point that she was even trying to make just in one fell swoop. Like I said, they don't care about this. They care about, trying to do this whole back and forth and rah and all this other type of stuff and thinking that they're right about some stuff. You're not. We're the originators here. You're not going to, be more right than us. You're just not. That's a forever losing battle. Just like you're losing this battle, you're going to lose every other battle as well too. Like I said, that's wild. Instead of you as the person that you are being just solely focused on your own people and for the betterment and trying to mitigate, the risks and different things of that nature, you are still making content about black Americans. Wow. Diabolical. 100%. Always trying to get black Americans directly into something. Clown world that we live in at this moment in time. A clown world. So now we're going to continue on.
Can I borrow you for 1 second, speaking as a black Brit? Just really quickly. Do you know how when we say that America sets itself as the default and projects its power across the world, and it means that American imperialism and American hegemony means that we are always constantly having to pay attention to America because America coughs and we all catch a cold. Do you remember how we say that? That extends to everything. America considers itself the default, so black Americans are considered the black default. When we talk about the global conversation, black Americans are held as the default of the concept of blackness because America is centered in every conversation because it puts itself in that position of power, right? Why am I saying this? Jamal Burkmar made a video day or two ago about his opinion about Michael B. Jordan's performance versus Timothy Chalamet's, and I should say now, I've not watched Marty Supreme yet, so I can't say whether or not I agree with him. I made a joke about it on my other platform. That's not the point. You are allowed to disagree with him. You're allowed to sit and disagree with him. You're allowed to think he's a clown. for having that opinion. You're allowed to think those. You can't tell him to shut up. You cannot tell him that he's in other people's business and he needs to stop being in Black Americans' business. Because the thing is, the Black American business came to us.
What?
Specifically and especially when it comes to cultural conversations about representation, cultural conversations about representation of blackness in media. You cannot tell Black Brits or Black people in the diaspora to stop talking. You can.
No, actually we can. Because specifically speaking, because again, she's an African. She sort of got the forehead thing going on. She's looking kind of Somali in there. I'm just gonna be real. Because the thing that tends to happen is that these folks can never, like Black Americans, we can always have conversations that don't deal around these other groups directly out here. We could just specifically talk about cultural relevance. We can talk about our arts. We could talk about our food, our fashion. We could talk about our music, our movies. We could talk about different time areas. Like we can mix and match and mash things together. There's a variety of things from now until the end of time that we can just talk about before we even get to the aspect of really speaking on other people. When it deals with people like this, who are 9 times out of times ignorant immigrants, say ignorant, but same thing, ignorant immigrants. And specifically, she's in the UK. So a lot of those in the UK have, a type of belief about themselves, right? High belief, which is cool. No problem. That's all good. But it's a difference when you have the high belief and then you have the high belief and you're trying to do some type of comparison in between you and Black Americans. And then y'all trying to do this whole culture, which culture is better than, when realistically the UK don't even have a culture. Let's just be honest. The UK naturally itself does not really, in a sense, have a culture. A lot of what the UK has been brought by other folks. So that could be the Arabs, that could be the Jamaicans, that could be the Africans, that could be many other people that came directly there and placed themselves there and then decided to share their culture, like their foods and things like that specifically there. Initially itself, the UK don't really have a culture. That it's almost within the exact same vein when people try to, talk about the UK, and the UK is like, all right, well, we got all of these great dishes and foods. Dog, no, actually you don't. Your Chinese food comes with gravy. I don't know anything about that. You technically try to put a lot of gravy on a lot of different things. That's just a bit directly weird to me. And again, it's not Chinese food. But again, the greatest thing that you probably got is just fish and chips, just to be real. Just to be real. You probably got the best fish and chips directly, out there, bar none. Everything else is pretty much World War I and II era, type of food. And it's looking crazy. And there's really no type of seasoning or anything like that, even for the ones that come from other places into the United Kingdom. If they did have seasoning and flavor to their food, over time that dies down because people start complaining. And then everything just becomes bland. Just saying. Like I said, that's just saying. But again, dealing with the whole aspect of those out there trying to tell Black Americans, like, oh, you can't tell other people not to sit up there and speak on Black Americans or the culture. Yes, we can. We created it. We made it. You guys are just really observing it, and trying to dip your toe, in a sense, in it. Or to the further extent, you got Africans directly out here deciding that they want to pull up to the scene and say that R&B, soul, and rap, anything that Black Americans have created, they want to just try to claim it. While we're going to get into that, though. We are going to get directly into that after this woman's video, though.
Tell us to stop talking when it comes to speaking on the Black American experience, because we don't have the Black American experience. You cannot tell us to stop talking about our opinions of Black representation. Can I just explain this one more time? You think the Oscars is an American ceremony. You believe that the Academy Awards are solely an American ceremony. I am telling you, the Oscars market themselves and have managed to successfully convince everybody that the Oscars are the global standard of film. Global standard of film. And that American awards are the global standard. No one listens to the Césars. No one listens to the BAFTAs, maybe. Maybe if you're lucky, the BAFTAs and BAFTAs maybe make a tiny dent in
I
the
don't even know what
American
that is.
opinion, you know, or some of the Canadian awards, maybe. But we all know that the Oscars are not just considered the American elite, the American tippy top of film, but the tippy top of film, period. If anyone in the world wants to reach the top of the film industry, they must win an Oscar.
No, let me just recorrect you. If people want to realistically make it, a lot of people, right? She's more than likely African or whatever. If she wanted to make it, she would need to come over here to these United States. When it deals with the UK doesn't really have a Hollywood, just to be real. Africa doesn't, to at least to my knowledge and everything that I can understand, they don't have a Hollywood directly out there. They might have like what they call it like a Nollywood and all this other, like, no, ain't nobody really paying attention to that. That's only like some local type stuff. And again, that's great. That's cool. Locals are supporting their own people. But in general, when you look at the UK, what do a lot of the UK actors who are good enough, what do they decide to do? They move over and they come to the United States so that they can now be in the eyes of the world. Because if United States highlights you, the rest of the world is going to acknowledge you. And again, no disrespect to Idris Elba. Like I said, like the dude as an actor. But originally, wasn't nobody talking about Idris? Before he came to these United States, wasn't nobody sitting up there talking about Idris? Right? Wasn't nobody talking about him. But when Idris came to these United States and he started acting and taking on a lot of these roles, which are specifically Black American roles, this is when a lot of people started acknowledging. This is when he started to become a household name. This is when he started getting all of this money because he came over to the United States, because the United States actually still means something. She listed other award shows. I don't even know what those are, because realistically, that it just doesn't matter. In the grand scheme of things, it does not matter. It just doesn't. Like I said, if you really want to speak on something, talk about the fact on how the UK does a piss poor job of actually celebrating and, you know, pedestalizing, you know, a lot of their own, making them rich into millionaires, hundreds of millions and billionaires, and, you know, things of that nature. Nobody, you know, from the UK should have to come over here to feel like they made it, to get some type of acknowledgement, to really sit up there and make it, to get the money that they really want to sit up there and make. Idris could not make, a lot of the UK actors, they could never, the amount of money that they're making over here in the United States, they would never make that over in the UK. That would never happen, because if it was possible, they would just stay over there and act. But we all know what it is. We all know what it is. That's crazy.
But the Oscars only represent American films, because if you didn't make an American film, you get put in the one big bucket called Best Foreign or Best International Feature, right? International cinema has had to fight to be considered in that Oscars contention, because the Oscars represent American cinema, but they tell the world they represent all cinema, because that's what America does, right? Sinners is very clearly a Black American narrative. But because of the way America as an idea works, America gets to decide what all Blackness gets held, what all Blackness gets looped in with. And because Sinners was so successful, people don't call it a success for African Americans or Black Americans. They call it a success for Black people. And unfortunately,
Where did you hold? We're not doing that. We are not doing that. We are not. Who? It's because it's a lot of owls in here. Who specifically is saying that this is a success for the Black diaspora? Who? Because a lot of y'all clowns ain't never sat up there and had the history or any of the dealings that specifically and only that Black Americans have dealt with. The things that they even listed or talked about in Sinners, like at least, you know, the towns being, you know, separated, how people had to sit up there and like work, the things that they had to sit up there and face, the double crossing that in a sense inevitably happened, which always happened, especially during those times. Y'all don't know nothing about nothing. Don't you dare sit up there and try to state that this is an all-encompassing. It's not. It's not. Like this is where we start to have problems. And this is where you hear a lot of Black Americans say that they do not like Black folks up there in the UK. Or better yet, let me see. Can you just say the Black Brits? I guess African Brits, whatever you want to say. This is why we don't like them folks over there, because y'all start saying some stuff that just don't make sense. That don't make sense. Sinners does not represent all of the quote unquote diaspora. It does not. It specifically is talking to the few, which are the Black Americans that historically have faced these things and gone through these things. Like, we the ones that got stories. Y'all don't got nothing. Y'all just came over here like fresh off the boat or a plane. Y'all don't know nothing about nothing. Y'all don't got no stake. Y'all don't got no history here. But y'all stay trying to claim some stuff and always trying to be in Black American business. Like, this is what we be talking about right here. This is what we be talking about every time, dog.
Because American cinema is considered the default and pretty much the entirety of cinema, you are now representing us, right? Let me see if I can try and explain this even more clearly. You can tell that none of the rest of us get an in without going through Black Americans and Americans, because one of the main characters of Sinners is played by a British Black woman, Wunmi Mosaku, who was going to have a fantastic career here in the UK, but was not going to be considered the peak of cinema or the peak of excellence in her career until she made a film in America.
So whose fault is that? So, okay, cool. I know who she's talking about. She's talking about the African woman. I know who she's talking about. But wouldn't you blame yourself? Wouldn't you blame your people? Wouldn't you blame where y'all specifically are from, which is the UK, for not highlighting her the way that she should be highlighted? This goes back into what I said before, that don't nobody know nothing about y'all up until y'all start coming over here. And then the moment in time we highlight you, we put you in our films. This is now when the celebrity starts happening. This is now when those multi-million-dollar contracts and stuff start coming in. Because again, if they were as great, and not saying that she isn't great, but if she was as great as she is trying to state that she is, then she would have been able to get multi-million-dollar contracts and all. But oh, that's right, you can't, because they are ultra racist over there in the UK. And they're not going to make you guys hyper successful. And you know this. This is why you get paid less. So this is why you come directly over to these United States, so that you can get the money that you wouldn't be able to get over there in the UK. And also so you can get the accolades and the awards and all the other type of stuff that comes directly with it, because you have more of a chance being a Black Brit coming to the United States and being successful and having the Black community love you, versus you staying solely in the UK and trying to work your way up from there and trying to be like an Idris Elba there. Good luck with that one. And then you think that all of those people in the UK are going to sit up there and love you and idolize you the way that it happens over here when it deals with Black Americans, whenever it is that we see like a black face or a black image. Yeah, nah. Like I said, it's not the same. Like I said, this is why Black Americans are imperative. This is why we are important, because we have the power. Again, we have the Midas touch. It's that simple. It is that simple. I have yet to hear of a Black American going directly to Africa and he's automatically becoming some type of millionaire, multimillionaire, billionaire, because the Africans there really love him so much and really support him. I've yet to sit up there and see that, especially in droves. I've yet to sit up there and see that. And more than likely, it's never going to sit up there and happen, because they're going to make sure to sit up there and support their own first, no matter how corrupt they are. They're going to make sure to support their own before they sit up there and support somebody else and make them rich, especially make that person that outside of richer than them. Yeah, nah. And that's the exact same mentality they got over there in the UK. It's crazy work.
Representing American Blackness, not British Blackness, American Blackness. Right? Because no American is making a Black British film. And if you want to be a Black person in film, you're often representing Black American experience.
If that's because you're in America, so you are going to sit up there and play roles that represent us. Why would if let's go back historically speaking, didn't America and Britain fight a war and we fought to separate ourselves from them, from the kings and the queens and all that other type of stuff, right? So why on God's green earth would you think that anybody in America here is going to specifically write a role that's British? Why should we care that much? That doesn't make sense. If I was an actor and I went over there to work in the UK, you do realize that I would have to have a UK dialect coach or whatnot. I have to work on that for a lot of years. I would have to be basically embedded, entrenched, in order to have that accent so authentic that it's believable, right? And I would be playing roles specifically tailored to the area of which that I'm working in, which will be in the UK. So I would be representing, quote unquote, the UK blacks, right? However it is you want to, call them or whatnot or whatever. So again, why would you think that it would be different, that you're going to be representing yourselves here in Black America? You're not here in Black America. You have no representation here in Black America. You have no history here in Black America. So why would you think that you would have any type of roles or anything highlighting you specifically? What? Weirdos.
Because America is the default and you are black, so you're going to have to be a Black American in that film. Okay. I really hope I'm making sense. You can't tell us to get out of the conversation. It's our conversation too. You can tell us we're wrong, but you can't tell us to leave. Because America came to us first. America dominated our industries and dominated our conversations.
But whose fault is that? All you're sitting up there telling me is that you don't got no motion. You don't got no movement. So because you have nothing, America or Black Americans is just pretty much like come over there and just like tsunami wave, the whole thing landscape. And it's like, this is the effect. This is the energy. That's a personal problem. That's a personal problem. Talk to your people there. Talk to whoever, is up there running the UK on whatever entertainment industry y'all got. Yo, start standing up and speaking for yourselves. Don't get on these internets and try to make this a Black American issue, because it's not. It's going to fall on deaf ears. We're not going to sit up there and care. And again, I'm looking at you. You look quite Somali, and you're more than likely over there from Africa. So again, miss me with all of that. You could very easily be uplifting and trying to manage your own people and all this other type of stuff, but that's not the type of time that you're on at this moment. You don't, realistically, you possibly don't even actually care, but you care enough when it deals with Black Americans being within context, being around or in a conversation. You care because you figured out, I can sit up there and talk about this, and then basically, siphon off of the energies of Black Americans, because we don't got no motion, we don't got no waves, we don't got nobody's touch, and y'all don't. It be like that. Well, let's keep going.
Dominated our cultures first, and in doing so used your blackness to paper over ours. So we now see us as the same. You may not see it. We may be peons to you. We probably look like peons to you. Whoa, what do we have in common with Black Brits? We don't wear tracksuits. We're not
Did you hold on? This is how stupid y'all are. Let me just pull that back. You said we don't have nothing in common with Black Brits. We don't wear tracksuits. Do you understand? Let me hold on. Jesus Christ. I can't believe this. Lord have mercy. You do realize that when people happen to think about tracksuits, you got a variety of areas, right? But mainly the main ones who, and I'm not talking about just like the small groups, because when you look up tracksuits, right, they talk about the 1930s and they talk about, the French, created them, and then they gained some, popularity here and there, in the 1967s and things of that nature, right? But when you think about how it became a staple just for everybody to sit up there and wear, you go directly to hip hop. You go to film, you go to casual streetwear. And again, that is Black American. It is the influence. Somebody else created it. Cool. The people who really made it hot for everybody to sit up there and wear it was Black Americans. At no point in time in the history of my life did I ever think about, yeah, I'm about to be out here, wearing like a tracksuit and all this. Nah, I ain't care about nothing about the, the European boys. I ain't care nothing about the French. Whatever the UK was doing, ain't nobody care. I was wearing it because culturally that was something that I saw. That again, when you look from the 80s till now, you had tons of films, tons of Black films, Black television shows, even in comic books, even in commercials, other forms of media such as magazines, right? Even just in real life. Again, it was everywhere. So I'm not sure what you're bringing up the tracksuits for, as if that was something that was just solely specifically you. Because again, I'm looking directly at it. Originated late 1930s, circa 1939, created by a French sportswear company. Right, those are the ones that originated the tracksuits. But again, when you deal with the whole thing of when it became cultural, they listed such as Bruce Lee in the 1970s, but that was one. And then they heavily list in the 1980s to the present, where they said that in the 1980s, hip hop scene, e.g., Run DMC adopted them as a staple, and they saw a revival in the 1990s and the 2000s in pop culture and street fashion. So yes, just saying. Just saying. I'm just talking about me as a Black American. I wasn't thinking about this because of what y'all folks was over there doing in Europe. I'm solely looking at what my own people are sitting up there doing. That's it. Again, Midas touch. That's all I'm sitting up there saying. That's all I'm saying.
Don't know how to explain this to you. It is parasocial. We have much more of a connection to you than you do to us. We know. That's kind of how the empire works. It's kind of how the empire works. I'm trying desperately to explain to you that your conversations are our conversations, even though you don't want to reciprocate. Even though you believe you're having the conversation between yourselves in a room. Unfortunately, your room is made of glass, and we are all being forced to sit and watch it. So we are going to start forming opinions and having discussions. You can tell us all you disagree with us. You can disagree fervently with us. You can't tell us to leave the conversation or get out of your business, because the business came to us. Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't. The business didn't come to you. You decided to observe and sit there. You want to sit up and say that the Black American conversation is held in a glass box or glass room, and you're forced to sit there and watch it. No, you're not. Because if that was the case, then all of the food that we basically eat, you will be eating it over there in the UK, but you're not doing that. Magically, everything stops there, though, right? It stops there, though, right? Magically, if you guys were so consumed about what it is that Black Americans do, then the greater majority of you guys would actually not be in interracial relationships, correct? But yet you're not. Magically, it's funny where a lot of these things tend to stop. When it deals with Black Americans and cultural foods, y'all don't know nothing about that. Never heard of it. Y'all ain't trying to adopt that. When it deals with Black Americans actually dating their own people because we love to see ourselves and to be with each other, y'all like, yeah, we ain't doing that. We're gonna deal with the Europeans. we're gonna do with everybody else but ourselves. And like I said, if people want to talk about interracial dating, go over there to the UK and look at how all of them move. It's wild. It is 100% wild, and that is quote unquote as people want to consider it the normalcy. Which, I mean, it's only normal if you, in a sense, allow things to happen, right? If you think that it's not normal to look at yourself as beautiful, or to want to be with somebody who understands you, looks like you, can have daily conversations with you on an everyday basis. If you figure that that is not a normal thing, then it's gonna be like that. That's some wild work, though. Some old school. Yo, what is up? Old school says she's the type to lay up with Zaddy. Yeah, she probably is. She seems like that type. She seems directly like that type. I can see it. She's giving the Somalian forehead. I can see it. That's why the hair is directly to the front instead of to the back, because we would be looking at a straight motion picture at this moment in time. Crazy work. But yeah, like I said before, it's crazy to sit up there and say that you're forced. But, to make it a little bit better, what we're going to sit up there and do is go to the next conversation to further prove what it is that I'm saying on how it is that they want to try to say that everything that we do is basically them, right?
R&B originate from?
West Africa. Yeah. But you know about roots R&B? I think the roots came from somewhere in West Africa. No, if you want to go deep, because there's a difference between where it originated or where it got popular.
Thank you.
That's a difference.
That's Africa. This is Africa? Yeah, dude.
Coming from an African R&B.
I just want to highlight. Let me see where we at. We're at 21 seconds. I just want to pull back, and I just want to let me see if I can get that larger image. I want people to sit up there and note how they're dressed. All of these are immigrants. All of them are having conversations about everything that I see here. Nothing here is like a Jamaican. Nothing here is like an African. I'm looking at strictly Black American cosplaying attire. This is what we be talking about. And then they will sit directly in these rooms and they'll have conversations about Black Americans. Matter of fact, what does his shirt even say? What does that say? Let me see if I can get that. I don't know, it's league something, but again, he even got like a gold chain, glasses, all that, brother. This is what I be talking about, y'all. And people want to talk about, oh, where some stuff originated from, dog. All of y'all doing, sitting up here doing all of this. This is us. Ain't nothing here. All of these people, realistically, if people wanted to be real and honest, people need to pull up to the scene dressing like their culture, dressing in your natural garb, but y'all can't do it because y'all embarrassed. You don't even like who it is. You run from both your country and you run from who it is that you are culturally, even though that you say that you're so culturally proud about what it is that you are, your foods and all this other type of stuff. But whenever I look at these podcasts, I can't tell, where y'all from. It's like in the one girl in the green, that shirt, the top that she got on, that's like some early 2000s fashion that Black American women were sitting up there wearing here. I specifically remember that one. And I'm like, oh, so y'all just pulling from different, Black American timelines here when it deals with clothing and stuff. And then y'all want to have these conversations about where did Black American music come from. And y'all want to try to say that all of that is y'all. Can't even make up your own fashion. Can't even make up your own fashion. But here we go. All right.
There's a difference between where it originated or where it got popular.
Thank you.
That's a difference.
That's Africa. This is Africa? Yeah, dude.
Coming from an African R&B. American.
If you check history, blues, rap originated from Africa.
The sound or the genre?
Bro, the sound.
Hold on a second.
There's no genre without the sound.
Facts.
The sound is the genre.
I with that.
Yeah,
with that.
Slaves used to rap. They used to chant. Then it was a chant. They used to.
So that's what we're doing now. That's what we're doing. This man says slaves used to rap. Huh? What language were these slaves rapping in? What language were they chanting specific? Like that's all I'm trying to sit up there and figure out. Because it's crazy. The same folks that sit up there and always want to talk about Black. Oh, you guys are nothing but slaves, and you guys come from slavery, and this, that, and the third, and we're so much better, and rah, rah, rah. Right? You're so much better, right? You didn't set up there and sent, quote unquote. You didn't shipped and sent all of these quote unquote Africans, right? Because we're supposed to be, African Americans, right? Y'all done shipped your own people over to somewhere else to never be seen or heard from again. And then automatically y'all wasn't creating nothing. Y'all didn't have no motion. Y'all didn't have nothing going on directly over there. Y'all wasn't doing nothing musically. So then after all of these years, when Black Americans finally create something, and we got something that's all of our own and it's from the experiences dealing with this history and all of this, here y'all come hundreds of years later talking about, these slaves over here, remember, they from Africa, so they're part of us. So what happened was that, when we shipped them directly over here because we didn't want them no more, when we shipped them over here because they slaves, because they're no longer serving use to us, we're going to give them to the European, to the white man. they started, doing some little hymns and, they started rapping and, and stuff like that. But originally, even though we shipped them over because we no longer wanted them, that's still us. We're still going to sit up there and claim all of that because that's originally our culture. That's where it came from. So I guess that the way that you dress in style, like streetwear and urban wear, I guess that came from Africa too, right? What time period was that? What time period was that? Just let me know. I'm trying to. What was the time period of recent years that Africans were just pulling up to the scene wearing like kilo chains? It just had like gold all in their mouth and Air Force Ones. Wearing all different types of like blue jeans and backwards jerseys and I don't know. Somebody gotta let me know. And then on top of that, that's not even to mention the whole car culture. Please, I need the Africans to let all Black Americans know where did they originate the car culture? Like what specific parts of Africa, because we all know everybody in Africa got cars, though, right? So what specific part of Africa did y'all create Black American car culture? Let me know. Let me know.
Dang. So that's soul blues. Facts originated from Africa.
The fact that they came here as slaves, people forget the African descendants of it. They didn't just come to America and start developing slave songs. They came from Africa with the slave music they already had, and they brought it to here. So when people take about what makes it popular, it was popularized in America because they brought our ass here.
Makes sense.
If we never came here, it would have only been the African.
I don't think that. I think what some.
What? Hold. No, this clown didn't sit up there and say if they never would have brought us here. Who is us? Who are you? Don't you ever sit up there and say like no us. No, we know who you are. Yo, this is what I be trying to say. Like, yo, these clowns be trying to play in everybody's face. Like you hear the basic type of, stereotypical, Black American accent that they got. But I promise you, when they have their family reunions, when they sit up there actually like talking to their folks, the tone shifts. The tone is different. But when they want to try to get a broader reach, because people, this is what I want people to understand. Because again, this is coming from a content creator. Because they want a broader reach on this topic, they're not going to specifically just niche it down and start speaking it in their language. And only in ways of which that, their people can happen to hear and understand it and perceive the conversation. They're going to use and take on a stereotypical Black American accent, dress this exact type of way in order to open the doors so that everybody will happen to pay attention to it, because they know just as well as I know, if they decided to dress in their natural garb and have these conversations and have the natural accent that they have, nobody will be tuning into this nonsense. Nobody will be paying attention. I just seen tons of African content creators all over the place. Ain't nobody sitting up there. They stuff ain't moving. Don't nobody really care. It's pretty niche. And because it's niche, ain't nobody really going to be searching for it. Nobody's really going to look for it because it's only dealing with African things or Jamaican things, Caribbean things, Black Brit things. It's not a generalized type of thing, nor do they have the appeal in order to, carry it and to draw other energy directly to it. So again, this is what they have to sit up there and do. They can never have this conversation. Why don't they sit up there and talk about music from Jamaica, music from Brazil, from the Caribbeans, in the UK and Africa? Why do you always have to bring up Black Americans? But everybody always say that they create their own music, they got their own culture. But why do y'all always resort to factory default setting of talking about us? You would think that if you guys, Africans, if you guys are the originators, the originals, you would just stay focused and talking about you. But it seems as though, to me, in a sense, that Black Americans are the originators, because default setting wise, y'all always come back to us. And y'all are always talking about us instead of talking about anything else. But let's keep going.
Sometimes what we are not differentiating is that it's morphed into something else. So R&B became R&B. And what we know as R&B, that's Black American music that we are now infusing in our Afrobeats today.
So let me get this straight. So Black Americans created R&B, but R&B came directly from Africans. But then she's saying that Black Americans created R&B, and what is in R&B, they are infusing in Afro beats. Huh? If you're the originators, why would you be infusing something that originally came from you? That doesn't. This is what I'll be talking about. They don't make no type of sense. You're the originators, but you're infusing something that originally came from you and something that you created. That's not infusing. That's not infusing. Like, yo, they just be saying anything on these podcasts, dog. Every single time. All to just bring up Black Americans because they can't bring themselves up. They can never just sit there and talk about, including her. I really need to know where she's from. I mean, she did sit up there and say it's infusing in Afro beats, like the way that she was talking. It's like, okay, you're something. I can't specifically put my finger directly on it, but like I said, when you allow people to sit up there and talk, they will tell directly on themselves, even though they may not specifically give it directly to you on the forefront of things. Yeah, there's something there. There's an underlining thing there, because again, if she was Black American, she would have corrected all of these clowns sitting direct. Like this one, I can tell you that this one, the one in the black tube top, I know she's African. I know she's African. She's either African or from somewhere from the islands. Either one of the two. There is a certain type of look that is directly there. But again, I just want to sit up there and point out that a lot of these people are supposed to be proud of who it is that they are. But I'm seeing some hair straightening, and I know naturally her hair didn't come out like that. So either she got a wig or she sat up there and straightened her hair to a point of what it didn't naturally originally look like when she was born. Just sitting up here saying, just saying, you got the other one right there. I know she's African, forehead, and then the hair is going right to the back. It's almost to like the center of her head, like I said. And she's trying to take on some aesthetics of Black American women from like the 90s and the 2000s. Like I said, it's crazy that we got, again, Black America got such a Midas touch, but people want to try to deny that. People want to try to make it seem like we're just crazy. That we're just so full of ourselves because we're American and we need to be humbled and this, that, and the third. But then they come up and they decide to start speaking on us. I can't even think of a moment in time in my life that I've thought about like, yo, let me sit up there and sit with some of my boys real quick, and we're going to sit up there and talk about African rappers. We're going to talk about like the UK rappers and and have a convert. No, we don't care. Whatever you're doing in the UK is cool. We don't care. Whatever you're doing in Africa, we don't care. Whatever you're doing in the islands, we don't care. Like, we don't care. We got our own stuff going on. We got our own business. We got our own motion. Obviously, everybody else don't. This is why they stay focused on us, even though they like to say that, we're forced to pay attention and to look directly at you guys. Huh? That's wild. That is diabolical. Crazy work. Like I said, y'all come through and y'all study every single thing that we do. Like I said, the haircut that this dude got, that's not nothing that they normally do in Africa. Like any of the Black American hairstyles that y'all have ever seen, that's not anything that they just naturally do over there in Africa. Just to be real, that's not what they just now started doing that. Like started doing like the lineups and all this. They just now started doing that realistically. They wasn't like, you sit up there and look at them like some 80s, 90s, early 2000s, the 70s, the 60s, they weren't doing none of these hairstyles. This is why you got one dude that was in the UK talking about he's about to I guess he just found out about like the Jerry curl or whatever it was, and he was going to try to bring it back into style like some random UK rapper or comedian or something. I'm like, dog, we've been where y'all from? I'm like, y'all really think as soon as y'all see something about Black Americans, y'all really think that y'all stumbled on something and just invented something? Like, it's so wild out here, man. The lack of credit that Black Americans, get is it is just wild. It's wild. Anyways, let's keep going.
African American community share a lot of similarities with South Africa. The soul music is straight from South Africa, and you cannot tell me otherwise. Have you heard South Africans sing? Have you seen the body on South African women? Like it's like African Americans mirror South African women. They mirror South African culture. I think South African has the most influence on African American culture than any other African country. But I think slaves came more from West Africa than the Southern Africa, but who knows? But I think South Africans have a lot of more cultural influence on African Americans than any other country. True.
This is you see how this dummy is just sitting up there talking with a type of confidence. She's like, yo, even though the African slaves didn't originate from South Africa, South Africans have the most influence. She was like, you see the South African, the women's bodies in South Africa, and then you see the Black Americans. She was like, you see the South African music, and then you see the Black Americans. She's like, we have the most influence. Like, y'all just be coming out of nowhere just saying just anything. Y'all have nothing. Y'all have nothing. Y'all have nothing to your name. And this is why you attach yourself to Black Americans, so that you could try to take the throne, so that you could try to lay claim to something that you didn't even create. You be like, oh, but DNA wise, and we're the ones that sat up there and sold and gave you guys away, and and all this other type of. What are you talking? I don't even know. The only South African dumb artist that I know is Tyler. And she was the one that came up with the water song. And she was the one that brought her dumb South African self to these United States streets and wanted to go up to the Breakfast Club talking about, oh, I refer to myself like, oh, I'm I think it was something like, does she call herself a Black woman or whatnot, whatever. No, she calls herself a colored girl. And Black America was like, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? And she doubled down on that, basically saying that she's going to continue to call herself a colored girl because that is a racial designation over there in South Africa. I mean, which it is. But again, historically speaking, this is why a lot of you Africans, we know that y'all don't pay attention to the history and y'all don't listen to nothing. The people that have been here longer than you are telling you like, hey, that's not a good look. Could you call yourself something? It's cool. You don't want to call yourself like Black woman. It's cool. But could you refrain from using colored because of the history that we have here? She didn't care. And this is why you don't see Tyler's music anymore at this moment in time. So again, and this also goes into the effect of when you had a lot of Africans that wanted to try to get on Black Americans. And they wanted to try to say that Tyler, she had her own her own people that supported her and people that love her music. So where is she? Because after Black Americans shut that down, more so specifically Black American women, after they shut that down and were like, yeah, we're just not going to be listening to her. We're not going to be there no more. What happened to all of her supporters? What happened to all of her fans that were across the world and all this? You don't see her no more. You don't see her, in a whole bunch of videos and getting, pushed and all this other. It's real silent. So like I said, Africans, y'all need to come get your girl. Like she that's y'all color girl. Come get her. Come support her. Come make sure that she's gonna be good. Make sure that she's gonna be a legend. In these American streets. Maybe her next album, she could just call herself Color Girl and just have herself on the front of the album color with multi-colors just going, directly through her like a prism or something like that, to try to further triple down, directly on that. And I'm pretty sure that the album is going to go plastic if she were to do that. Like I said, people always try to make it seem that like Black Americans are jealous and we don't want other people to make it. It's not even that. When you disrespect us, we're going to sit up there and show you better than we can tell you. And y'all still don't even understand what that means. So, but like I said, you will. One way or another, you will understand it. One way or another, you're going to sit up there and understand it. Like I said, that was crazy. You thought that you, as an African woman, we're going to come directly through here and tell Black Americans what it is. But especially you thought. Hold on, let me just roll up here. Let me just highlight. let me get her face directly up here. Where's the images? Directly of this one. What's the best one I could pull here? Yeah, we'll just go with that one. Why not? Right. So we're going to highlight the colored girl directly up here, because for the Africans, because we had another African directly up there. So for anybody who doesn't know, this is what Tyler looks like. Right, this is the South African that wanted to double down, and she referred to herself as a color girl. So again, she pulled up to the scene as an African and decided that she was big into the program and that she could tell Black Americans what it is. But the battle that you lost before it even started was the moment in time that you ever thought for 1 second that you were going to pull up to the scene in these United States and tell Black women something. Woo, that career was that was a flash in the pan, I tell you. That was a fairly quick career. Because I'm looking at some of her songs, right? I'm looking at some of the songs. I'm looking at everything from like 2004. Maybe I do see one in 2025. Like, it's looking crazy, right? It's looking 100% crazy. And this is currently where we are: 2024, 2003, 2025. I think I did see like a 2019 directly. Yeah, yeah, you're done. You are done. You are done. Song that made her famous, Water. Yep. Because it was everywhere and now it is not. It's crazy. And then on top of it, I'm looking at, I didn't even know that her father, wait. In a colored, wow, that's crazy. They said that she's in a colored family. She's Indian, Indo, Mauritian, Zulu, and Irish ancestry. Grew up in Johannesburg. Colored girl, huh? Wild. Yep, they said she's from a multiracial ethnic group in South Africa with the highest levels of mixed ancestry in the world and a rich history of cultural identity. Ah, boy. Ah, boy. Good luck. Lord help. Lord help you, because you're gonna have to sit up there and figure some stuff out. You're gonna have to sit up there and figure some stuff out there, right? So let's go to the next video.
American and you're not white passing, make sure you carry a picture of your passport. One of my friends in LA and one of my friends in Texas have already had issues with ICE. One of my friend's brother in California literally got stopped and was giving a really hard time by ICE officers because he didn't have his passport on him. Then they proceeded to ask him his social security number. Yes, this is the point we've gotten to in our country. It's so disgusting and shameful. All these checkpoints going on and all these Hispanic Americans who are like, we are not gonna be in trouble, that's them and not us, bro. Like, it is us too, because we look Hispanic. I just texted my brother in New York. I was like, bro, make sure you carry a picture of your passport, porque nunca se sabe. You never know. And I know people are giving all those, papers saying like, these are your rights. They don't care about anyone's rights. Have you seen those videos of them dragging out American citizens of their van just because they thought they had undocumented people in the van? No matter what happens, please stand up for each other right now. If you're in the US, stand up for each other. And somebody made a TikTok being like, when the migra comes, I'm just gonna run even though I'm an American citizen just to, distract everyone. Do it. Do it. My mom was a manager at a clothing factory in the 90s, and she said she saw so many undocumented people get taken and people would hide, and it was horrific. It was terror. It was literally terror. No hardworking person deserves this. So it's time to step up and stick up for our people. No matter if you're, Ecuadorian and your neighbor's Mexican, it doesn't matter. Like, stick up.
My apologies. Had to get the door. But so this is currently where we are. A little bit out of breath. You got people out here having to give warnings and to specifically tell folks that, hey, you got to do this and you got to do that and everything of the sort, because you got to let them know that specifically, you're here, you're American, and all this other type of stuff. And I'm like, well, you need to specifically talk to the folks that voted for this, that enabled this to happen and to go directly down. And again, this will be one of the ones where she's technically, I guess you could say, passable. That people aren't going to really like freak out or really try to do too much of anything. It's more so the darker complected a person is, that they will tend to, do all of these things. But like I said, you can't tell nobody nothing. A lot of folks directly out here are going to have to sit up there and figure out the hard way when it deals with this. A lot of people are going to have to figure out the hard way. And like I said before, people need to specifically start going after those in their communities who voted for these situations to take place and happen. At no point in time can Black Americans be blamed directly for this. Should Black Americans be concerned or anything of the sort? Again, I got to go back and get and play the classic video. If I can find it real quick, give me a quick second.
Helping Latinos in the U.S. Let's do things the right way, and let's keep growing. Let's keep growing as a family, and let's make America great again.
Necesitamos a Trump. Let's make America great again.
A lot of Latinos, we stand strong next to President Trump. Let's make America great again. Let's go.
I'm just happy we in good hands. I know this 4 years is going to be one hell of a run. I know he's going to do a lot of great things for the whole Spanish community. Especially, we're going to make America great again.
I'm glad I gave that vote to Mr. Trump, and me and Anuel AA are here supporting. Que viva Puerto Rico, and let's make America great again.
Congratulations, President Trump.
We need you. We need you back, right?
Do you know who they are? Do you know who the hell they are? Come up here, just fast, fellas, come on. Because I don't know if these people know who the hell you are. But it's good for the Puerto Rican vote. Nikki Jam, do you know Nikki? She's hot.
So we heard that, right? We heard that, right? So I just want let me just this is how crazy this is, right? He was like, yeah, do you know who Nikki Jams is? Yeah, Nikki is hot. I'm like, excuse me? I'm like, because clearly, let me just show y'all, right? Nikki, this is Nikki Jam. This is a man. And this man was like, yeah, do you know who Nikki is? Like, Nikki is hot. I'm like, huh? No, there was like no earpiece. There was no correction. Nobody wanted to do a live edit directly at that. No, nobody wanted to check him on that real quick. Hey, that's a man, Damon. It's a man. Yo, what is up? We got Brandon World, aka Officer Haku. What is up? What is up? Said the I will vote for Donald Trump clowns. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Like I said, people bought it on themselves. Folks specifically caused this directly to happen. But nobody wants to, pay attention, to their folks directly out there. What was it? Pink said, what was it? Pink, you said, don't forget, I'll vote for Donald Trump. Oh, yeah. I would have to find that clip if I have it directly on me. Let me see if I can find it. If I can actually pull it Oh snap! Is that it right there? Did it actually come up? Hey, wait a minute. If that is it, we about to be sitting up there playing that real quick. Let me see. Oh yeah, it is it. Okay. Yep. I got you. I got you. We're about to pull that real quick. I actually had it up there. Got to give me a second on downloading this though. It's going to take a minute, even though it's only a quick minute, which is ridiculous. It shouldn't actually take that long. But those are the processes when you are doing a live stream. Stuff, normally wants to take a lot of time. A lot of time. But while that is happening real quick, give me a quick. Oh, wait. Okay, so now I can actually post it. Let me put this up there. Gotta go with the classic, the greatest hits.
Vote for Donald Trump. I will vote. Raise your hand, come on. For Donald Trump. Dale cintura, 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 cintura. I will vote for Donald Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump. Let's do it. Latino for Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump. Bueno, señoras y señores, everybody, let's sing this song, everybody, together, okay? I need you loud, because I want you Trump. Hear that song, okay? Again. Yo quiero que todo el mundo lo cante fuerte, para que nuestro presidente la escuche. ¿Ok? En español viene ahorita. Viene ahora. So, tranquilito. Come on. 1, 2, 3, go. Oh my God, I will vote. Everybody. I will vote. Come on. Repeat, repeat. Oh.
So I heard it right. It was going to go into the best part. The oh my God, I will vote for Donald Trump. This is, like I said, that's one of the greatest hits to ever have happened, to hit the airwaves in a very long time. It is legendary, and I will never let that die. That will always, I will have that as a ringtone, just as a memory. I don't care if I'm like 85. I will have that as a ringtone. It's going to happen forever, always. I will cherish it. And this is what I said before. A lot of folks out here, they opted to do this. And again, they were highly celebrating all of this stuff from specific. They were celebrating this stuff. And as somebody said in the comment section, who's that? Billy? Yo, what's up, Billy? You said, where are they now? Exactly. Where are they now? Where are they to, make a rendition, another song, make this like go beyond the Macarena, right? Macarena was a one-hit wonder type of thing. We need multiple hits. We got to have those consistent reminders. Every year, they need a remix to this song. That's what they should do. But yet they're not. Not at all. Sonny said, as a New Yorker, I noticed that FBAs use our imagination to build reality, while every Hispanic uses their imaginations to ignore reality with the same energy and passion. That's wild. M. Hampton said, hello, a ringtone. Yeah, you got to bring back the ringtones. It's classic. That is classic. Jake said, LOL, the bridge. Yeah. Like I said, I played this on repeat so many times. It was insane. I love the song. It's a classic song. It's a cult classic. What was that one show that they used to have on it was like MTV VH1? It was like, I love the 90s. I love the 2000s. If they ever bring that back, they need to put the song directly up there. I wonder if the song was actually playing directly on the radio. I wonder. I wonder. Yo, Tyrone, what is up? You said I will vote for Donald Trump. Yep. Hallway, what is up? Says smack the like button. That's bars. Anybody and everybody, hit that like button. And again, much love, respect, and appreciate to any and all of y'all folks directly here. That is a clear-cut part of the conversation. Much love, much love, much love. I actually have another video. I just got to check it real quick. I might just leave it as is. Yeah, whatever. I'll just leave the what's the name directly up there. So this is going directly into one of the other avenues that I've talked about before, where you have some women out there that are not Black Americans. So I just want to preface that because at least to me, she don't look Black American. But you got some women out there that want to specifically speak on Black American men, giving off, the type of like narrative. And again, that's why I said a lot of the stuff is in a sense dangerous, because you don't specifically know who anybody is. They'll just decide to open their mouth and talk the same exact way that we were able to see and highlight that within this live stream, right? Let's just go directly to it. Let me get this video for you guys right here.
To a black guy. Hear me out. Don't hate me for this. I can smell the comments. I can smell the comments. Guys, okay. Hear me out, okay? It's not that I don't like them. I like them like humans. I like them like humans, okay? I'm not a racist. I'm not. Nah. It's just that I don't want to get married to a black man, My type is Asian guys, white guys, Arab guys, and light-skinned guys. Okay, maybe you can be mixed. And stuff like that. But honestly, to be honest, I don't want to get married to a black man and whatever, but I'm not a racist, okay? I don't hate them. I like them like humans, okay? So, I hope that answers your question. Yeah, okay.
Right? Yes. So, we were able to hear that. So, again, I'm showcasing this, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of people say, oh, the gender wars, and this is technically beyond the gender war, because you have a woman who is clear-cut not Black American deciding that this is the type of conversation that she wants to have, knowing the context, knowing the sentiments that are directly online, knowing how this will get, highlighted, and she'll have fields of women coming directly up and be like, oh yeah, I don't like, Black men either, and rah, and all this other type of stuff. And again, she's using Black men as a negative in order to pedestalize all the other guys. She listed Asian, white, Arab, and all this, even mixed. I'm like, I could have sworn, wasn't that still technically Black? I'm like, do people just like switch the rules directly on this? Because somebody can be quote unquote mixed, but then when you look at them physically, it's like, yo, phenotypically speaking, like you're Black. It's like it's undeniable. We clearly know, you're Black. That there's Black there. Like I said, this is the type of content that sells, that is marketable. Again, because of how it is that she looks and who specifically she's speaking about. These folks right here could never just make content pedestalizing the men of the demographic of which that they love, that they want to be specifically with. And again, like I said before, you can be with whoever it is that you want to be with. Just don't be like, just stop talking about Black men. It's like, it's that simple. It's not that difficult. It's like, you listed all of these other groups of men. You could have listed their cultures. You could have listed their language and all of this, right? You was like, I never said I would get married to a Black man. I love them like humans. What does that even mean? Like, I feel like that's the type of slur. It's like, I don't know what it is. Like I feel as though that when she said that, like it was very, very weird. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm looking a little bit too far directly into it, but it was just the way that she framed that. She said it twice. It just seemed very weird. And you could tell that she knew what she was saying when she was saying it and how stupid she was going to sound. Rabbit said that East African Muslims really are not black or African. No. I know what you're saying. Especially when you deal with, like, let's say, case in point, like the Somalis, they don't consider themselves African. They don't consider themselves black. They will consider themselves either Arab or white. So trust me, Rabbit, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm just, at the whole thing of like how ridiculous this is, and how you will have other women that will decide to see her, and they will feed directly right into this. And the main thing that I happened to tell people before is that women like this will pull up to the scene. It's not even Black American. They will pull up to the scene and engage in this type of rhetoric, in this type of conversation, which is normally divisive when it deals with the Black community, when it deals with the relationships of Black men and Black women. Also noting the fact that people like this will never specifically speak on the fact that you have more Black men and women that are together versus being with others. But yet they pull up online and they want to try to, formulate this whole echo chamber. Like, yeah, all of us are just running over into this one section and we're just grouping up with all of these guys, and that, the Black men are, quote unquote losing. Again, they're throwing more flame, like more fuel directly onto a fire that doesn't need to, be flamed at all. Like I said, it would just come to a point in time. I would just hope that, a lot of women out there would pay attention, and they would realize that folks like this are only using you for monetary gain. They're using you basically off of your emotions. So they'll validate a negative sentiment or experience in order to sell a point, which is more harmful than good, which is not beneficial, realistically in the long run, because all they have to do, again, like I said before, is highlight those specific men and only talk about those men and make content about those men, but they can't do it because just doing that is not solidifying their stance. Those guys need them to specifically state something negative about Black men, so that now they're on this area of a shared experience. Like cultures and language and religion and skin color is different, but we got this one thing that we can bond directly over. It's like I as a guy of a different race feel the same type of way about Black men, and you, a woman of a different race, religion and skin color, feel this type of way about Black women. Let's get married. let's have kids. Like I said, it's wild work. It's 100% wild work directly out here. So, like I said, I get that, folks get tired of these conversations, but there are reasons to have, these conversations. Right. So next, I got 2 comments directly from the channel. Right. Then we're going to read directly off to you guys. You may have to turn, your phones sideways in order to read the comments that I'm going to go directly over. Every now and again, I happen to go over stuff that people say, right? Because everybody has an opinion, and, I have no problem with it, right? So this person said, what's the name? It's Bree, or is it like Brittany Jefferson or something like that? So this person left a comment, and he said that most content creators are here for money. Content creation isn't about community building. This is helping entertain people, of course, to waste time and recent events, creating a buzz, jumping on bandwagons in order to go viral and make ad revenue. We wouldn't have to face these challenges alone if more of us, all of us eventually, would refocus onto community building. But your answer to that, talking about me, is no answer. You say you go do it and I'll do what I do with my own platform. Okay, cool, fine, no problem. But the question then becomes, what gives you the moral right to speak on someone who is actually doing work to help our condition? He's talking about referring to the Thundercats, aka which was called the Black Panthers, who became the Black Lions. He said, if this man and his organization is really out here doing the work, unlikely to my mind, but possible, then I don't want to hear criticism from content creators, because he would be more in the right than content creators. I'm not telling anyone to go outside and do anything stupid. I'm saying that some solutions that you're acting on for all of us, as we all should, that isn't just you deferring to the status quo, wanting to succeed as an individual in their system. So you can be sitting pretty in the shade with a fruity drink and a mini umbrella in it on a tropical beach, while the rest of us are still messed up out here getting murdered by cops, underpaid, and generally being subjugated. Next, he said, we have been so conditioned to see ourselves as all of these horrible, terrible lies of dysfunction that we become hopeless and just rest on the system that exists, that don't care about us in any way, that isn't a token gesture. You're valued as far as you are useful. And when you are no longer needed, need your vote, when they don't no longer need your vote, your energy, your obedience, your bad example, your selfishness to help their agenda, you're expendable. Resigning to second class citizenship is not life, and that's exactly what you're doing when personal success is your only option. With enough trust of each other, even money itself becomes obsolete. Do you understand that we are the solution? Our ability to build and maintain rapport and trust and the goodwill of each other with the proper focus, the community, not the individual. Um, do what you need to do to survive, but exploiting people's labor so you don't have to labor is not the answer. Whatever system we devise, it at the very minimum needs the participation of others to become a real thing. And whenever we agree is and whenever we agree is real in the system, it is what it is. Can somebody help me make sense of that? I'm sorry, I got lost quite a few times. Like, I don't know what to tell people. Like, I got quite lost on this conversation quite a few times. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know. I was just falling asleep just even reading that. The only main part that, again, not even reaching on the whole rest of it, just the whole thing of like, hey, you got a problem that I called out that Black Panther Party, but I called them out for valid reasons. And the main reasons that I listed, I'm like, where were they at to specifically speak for the Black over these last 10 to 15 years? Like, where really were they at to get the drugs directly off of those streets, to clean up, those streets, to help out the drug addicts that are specifically there? Anything dealing with the kids, like, where are they at to put a stop or to be a barrier directly for that? When it deals with DV within the Black community, where specifically are you for that? When it deals with the education, when it deals with people trying to buy homes or start up businesses, when it deals with where were y'all at specifically when it dealt with the Black community? That's all I'm saying. And it's like, people have more of a problem with me questioning that, because if we're dealing with Black folks out here, you should be, number one, really focused on your own people and trying to repair what's going on in the Black community before you even got the wherewithal or the focus to focus on anybody else. You can't fix another person's situation if you never fix your own. You can't straighten up somebody else's backyard and front yard and house and you've never even looked at or touched your own. Like, that doesn't make any sense. How do you have the energy or the plans to do something for somebody else when you never had the plans and the energies to do it for yourself or for your own people? Like I said, that's all I'm saying. That's the only thing that I'm saying. And on top of the fact of, I didn't like the fact, and I questioned the fact on how this gang member originally, this rapper and all this other type of stuff, then decided that, I'm about to be an activist, and then he just went fully into activist. Like, he went from the role of acting as a gang member to now the role of acting as a Black Panther. And then the original Black Panthers came directly out and they was like, yeah, nah, this ain't it. You need to cut all of this nonsense. We don't agree with any of the rhetoric and what it is that you've been stating directly online. So you got to switch that name and you got to take off, whatever images or names that you got directly on you. Like we are separating ways at this point in time. Right now, we're going to make that very clear. So again, instead of folks being focused in on that, they want to have a problem with me on this. And I specified in about what 1 or 2 live streams and directly in quite a few videos that the whole general consensus of them just wanting to help the needy, I don't got no problem with that. You want to sit up there and feed people, you know, you might have a soup bread line or whatever it is. I don't got no problem with that. I feel like that's something that everybody should in a sense do to help other people get back on their feet, to let them know that, you know, they're loved and that somebody specifically cares about them, that they're not just, you know, some type of throwaway to just be out there for everybody to walk over, right? I don't got no problem with that. But the moment in time that you decide that you want to take on the name of the Black Panther, historically knowing what that means, what that brings with it, and who it was specifically made by and for, that's where I draw the line. That's where I have a problem, because you can call your organization anything else. You don't have to specifically associate it with the Black Panther Party, right? You wanted to associate it with that because of what the name brings, what it already registers. If you decide to create a whole brand new name, you're like, ain't nobody gonna notice, ain't nobody gonna respect it, ain't nobody, you know, gonna try to join up and all this other type of stuff, right? But anyways, right, that was one. So then we're gonna go to this one right here. You guys should be able to see that one in front of you, right? And this is somebody I've stated before a multitude of times. Let me just specifically speak to the grown men directly out here. Dog, at the end of the day, if you're a grown man and you got a problem with my content or what it is or how it is that I speak, yo, just block me. I don't need you to come directly through and try to send me your complaints. Like, I expect that if women have a problem, I expect a woman to sit up there and do that. That's cool. I get it, right? Women have like their emotions, they want to make their emotions be known, and you know, people want to have a conversation with that. I got patience for that. I have no problems. You as a grown adult male that's more than likely older than me, coming directly to this platform, and you're trying to tell me, oh, this is why, you know, at one point in time, let me just read it, right? He said, and this is a response to the last Black Panther video that I did. He said, grown men throwing things, question mark? You really are a clown. These guys simply just took off their patches and put them on the table. And you make it seem like they were throwing a fit over hyping the whole situation and blowing it out of proportion. Are you serious? They were asked to not use the name of the Black Panther Party, and they have now complied. And you want to take the opportunity just to talk your foolishness? You are a child SEIJIHITO hater. Was that like an autocorrect? Because it's supposed to be, you know, you're a child SEIJIHITO. You just like, I don't know, whatever. You said, and you will make any kind of BS videos just for content. I guess you've never seen any of the other content that I've ever made. You said, what have you ever done for the Black community except run your big mouth? Stop telling people what they're not going to do. You can't stop anything, clown. This is why I unsubscribed from your channel last year, but I still keep getting your stupid videos popping up in my feed. Guess that block button ain't strong enough. It's crazy. We out here. And you said, you went from somebody whose content I used to watch, listen to, and even respect, but now you are nothing more than just a YouTube circus clown. You said if Paul Birdsong and his group was to run up on you, you would piss your pants, little boy. You know, the funny thing is, this is the thing. I'm not sure. I've never given off the whole thing that I'm some type of like big tough guy or whatnot or whatever. But again, in life, you know, if people happen to pull directly upon you, is like you're just gonna stand there and have that conversation. So if they were to pull up on me, which again, that's a little bit weird that an organization that says that they're for the betterment and to help people would want to pull up on me because they have a disagreement, knowing the fact that I've covered videos where Paul Birdsong stated that he didn't care what anybody was saying about him or the group directly online. He verbatim stated that. He stated that himself. But he wants to come up here and pull up and body block and defend a whole another group of men, which doesn't make any sense because those men obviously can defend themselves. They you know, do their training, right? They have their meetings. They are each able to carry firearms. I'm pretty sure they go through firearms training as well too. So I don't understand that. Like if they were to pull up on me, obviously we would have a problem. Obviously, I said something that was immensely disrespectful, maybe about their children or their families or different things like that or whatnot, or whatever. Me having an opinion and critiquing and questioning, that's the problem. That's the issue. You didn't want to have a problem when he was out there, when he, first of all, he was a gang member. Nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to bring that up. Nobody wants to talk about him being an artist and all of the stuff that I've gone over when I dealt with these live streams and these videos. I guess that doesn't matter. Nobody wants to talk about how he just instantly out of nowhere, out of the blue, just became a social rights activist. Nobody wants to highlight that. Nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to talk about the fact that, again, as I said previously, where were they specifically at solely for the Black community, for the betterment of that community? Like dropping down the numbers of crimes, of break-ins, of domestic disturbances, of kids out there fighting and potentially turning to a life of crime or going, in and out of jail and prison system, or going to juvenile hall, or deciding to resort towards gangs because they're not getting the attention that they want and the love, that they should be receiving directly from their home. We're not or have a question about or critique any of that. We're just going to come directly after me because you got a problem with my content in my videos. Okay. Yo, that's wild. Yo, that is wild. Man, this dude, Mo, I'll tell you. I can't sit up and take you. Man, I can't take y'all nowhere. Yeah, this man just be writing anything in the comment section. That is why. Of course, Gail will be laughing. Of course. You can't take Black people nowhere. Let me tell you. AD said, didn't these people come here running war? They need to worry about getting theirs in order. Muslims have been fighting amongst themselves since birth. Yeah, like I said before, and then the other thing too as well is where are these groups magically getting this money from? And this is something that I've highlighted before and I've questioned before, even when it dealt with and again, I gotta preface this, or however you want to sit up and put it, just put this directly out there. When it deals with the government, left or right, Democrat, Republican, conservative, liberal, whatever you want to name it or call it, I don't care about both demons. None of them care about the American people. So the whole thing that I did before when it went over about BLM, I've asked people, where were they getting the money from? You had people out there buying mansions, buying cars. They were showing up in Cadillac commercials. They were, money, laundering, money mismanagement, all this other type of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, nobody finds this to be strange. I'm like, all it is like money just coming out of the blue. I'm like, who's managing this? Where is it going? Matter of fact, where is the money still to this day? Like I said, I've questioned a lot of things, including the mission statement, the first one and the rewritten one. And I had a problem with a lot of things, and I've called those things directly out. And like I said, where is the money coming directly from? Who originally invested in these things? So when I'm looking at the new Black Panther Party, I have the exact same question: who is funding this? Who is giving money directly to these folks? Directly out here, right? And again, I specifically told a lot of Black Americans, I'm like, yo, don't let this stuff hype you up, because they're trying to get you in the fray, and put you directly in the crosshairs of danger. And for anybody who is an actual leader, they would never want the people of which that they love and that they're trying to protect to be directly in the crosshairs of anything, unless that's the only option that they have. Other than that, they will pick any other option to place people or to put people directly at, so that they're pretty much safe and sound, and nothing is specifically going. When you decide as a leader that you want to be out there amongst other folks out there that don't have the best interest for you, amongst the system that got any and everything ready for you, you go out there and you talking about like, yeah, these police and all this other type of stuff ain't gonna happen because we're gonna put holes in them the size of windows. Like that don't make no type of, like, who does that? And then as I showcased to people before, Paul Burt's song, the same way that he was a gang member, he was talking to the police with the exact same mouth, be like, yo, this is our address. Try to pull up on us now when we all clicked up, when we all together. Let's see if you'll come at us now, because we already got some things waiting for you. Like, so pull up here. This is the address. Pull up here and see what you're going to do. See what you're going to get. And that was a message that was sent directly to the police chief when he was a gang member. And now when he's a social rights activist, when he's a quote unquote, when he was a Black Panther, he sent that exact same message in another video. It was just toned down and worded differently, but it had the exact same context. So then when I showcase that, I don't have people pulling up to the scene wanting to critique that, wanting to call that out, wanting to say that's not positive behavior of a leader. You know, nobody wants to critique that. But like I said, you know, it's easy always coming after other folks that want to think critical about stuff. It's always easier. It's always easier. Like I said, that's some crazy work. That is diabolical. 100%. Let me see. Oh no, Will, I know what you're talking about. I got, funny enough, I have that video that you're referring to. Right? Let me see if I can actually pull it up. Because that was a video that I talked about a few years back. A few years back. You know, I brought up that video and talked about it. Where they wanted to pull up to the scene and they were like, oh yeah, you know, these Black Americans, they are, you know, the problem. Matter of fact, I got you.
The major problem of Israel is with the young generation of the Black community. Black Lives Matter starts there.
There's a little bit more directly to the conversation. But basically she's stating, and again, this is a whole nother group of people in a whole nother area around the world. She's basically trying to say that these Black Americans directly out here, we gotta tame them, we gotta get them directly under control, because of the amount of push and pull that they have when it deals with social media. If people aren't paying attention, there's been a major initiative and a push for those out there to try to control the narrative and to try to control freedom of speech when it deals with social media, but only when it specifically details and speaks directly on them. If it details and speaks on any other group directly out here, they're like, oh no, we don't really care. We don't see nothing. We don't hear anything. It really doesn't matter. But to single out and to try to say that Black Americans, the Black American youth, is a problem when it deals with like your country or whatnot, or whatever, that makes no sense. That makes zero sense. You're not of the Black community. You're not around the Black community. We're not even on the same landmass. But this is how, again, you got people talking wild online when it deals with Black Americans. This is what it looks like. So this is when you hear a lot of Black Americans say that we are the most hated, because we are. You literally have all these different demographics who ain't never really actually been around us going online talking about us for no reason. Like, I'm like, yo, what is y'all problem? I'm like, don't y'all got other stuff that y'all should be, you know, really fixated on and, you know, and talking about and trying to bring directly to the forefront? But yeah, no, they don't care about that. They don't care about that. And you know, it'd be like that. You know, if more people basically you know, wake up and start talking about this nonsense, you know, it'll be better. I forgot what was this video. Let me see something real quick.
Although I would have really loved to contribute to the conversation that's been had on TikTok for like the last 2 weeks, I think the only thing I would want to say is I would really like if women just stop coming online and sharing their—
Okay, that was a whole different. Oh, matter of fact, I do got another video. Let's go to this one real quick.
I have one question for Black American. If you guys can answer this question very, very clean, may God bless you all. Why you guys hate us with passion? Why you guys hate the ground that African walk on? What is this that African have done to you guys that you cannot come out to say it? But you go on live and say our food is nasty. That we come from Africa to take away your food stamp, your benefit. Ma'am, I don't live on food stamp, first of all. Ma'am, I don't beg for food. I work hard. We haven't taken nothing from you guys. Be very clean.
Hold on.
To take away your food stamp, your benefit. Ma'am, I don't live on food stamp, first of all. Ma'am, I don't beg for food. I work hard. We haven't taken nothing from you guys. We're supposed to be brother and sisters. We're supposed to be united. No.
Well, I'm a question. So she said that we're supposed to be brothers and sisters and united. So if I'm to go by the whole story of Africans basically selling us and allowing Europeans to bring us directly over there, what about that story seems brother and sisterly to you? When I look at Africans and videos online of Africans saying that Black Americans are lazy, we're nothing but slaves, we're akatas, and all this other type of stuff. What about that is brother and sisterly to you? When you come directly online and you sit up there and state to Black Americans that, y'all, the Africans, they're not coming over there taking, the food stamps and like the benefits, because in comparison to you, you work. What about that is brotherly and sisterly to you? When we are able to go online and see Africans deciding to run their mouths in these United States about Black Americans, and the only time that y'all want to start showing up and popping up is when y'all become successful and y'all make it a little bit of something. What about that is brotherly and sisterly to you? That's all I'm trying to figure out right there, because it ain't making sense. Make it make sense.
Hate. You guys are worst racist person I ever seen in my life. God have mercy on you guys. Our food is nasty. We African were disgusted. This is how Black Americans talk shit about African. Never be inquisitive. This is my advice to you all. If a white man and Black person have problem, don't come on live and say that Black lives matter, because you worst. When I say worsted, them white person, you are worsted racist person I never come across in my life. In fact, I don't want to say what I want to say. Let me just bite my tongue. God bless you all. Answer my question. Watch out for part 2.
Why you gonna bite your tongue? Why don't you say what you always sit up there and say? Because you wanted to say something disrespectful because you're in your home, wherever you at, and you're hyping yourself up, which makes no sense. No, there's no Black Americans there. You're not looking at a Black American when you're recording this video. You're looking at an African, aka yourself. And while talking to yourself and looking at yourself, you're hyping yourself up. It doesn't make sense. Make it make sense. Like, you're crazy. You are a loon at this moment in time. And I'm not talking about the coin. I'm not talking about the currency. But no, she's one of those loony ones. Because that's crazy. Like, you just sitting up there in a room by yourself solo. I don't even hear kids in the background. And you just sitting up there hyping yourself up off of whatever. And then you got the nerve. As an African, you got the nerve to sit up there and say that Black Americans are the most racist. Here we go. And the main thing that you're mad about is because we said that your food is nasty? If it is, then what's the problem? Your palate may be different from ours. We're used to certain types of spices and seasoning directly with our foods. And you got Africans out there that like to eat dough. They'll have this, this type of dough, and then they got these other, types of slime dishes that are in a sense there, and you pull the dough and then you dip it directly in there with your hands and you eat that way. Yeah, no, everybody ain't about that life. I'm sorry. Like I said, I done watched a lot of videos where everybody's like sitting directly, in front of like a bowl, and you got the the other stuff, in a sense there, and doing all this other type of stuff. Nah. Like I said, everybody is not about that. That's all I'm saying. Like I said, that's some diabolical crazy work. 100%. Wild. Got the nerve to sit up there and say Black Americans are racist. Wild. Where we do that at? Black Americans are racist. Black Americans are the worst. Where we do that? Please don't be in America. That's all I got to say. Just do not be in America. Lord have mercy. Worried about the wrong folks. But anyways, yeah, that's it. That's pretty much all we got, guys. That is it. We've been going for about close to a good 3 hours. Much love, respect, and appreciation to any and everybody that's been a part of the live stream, right? Also want to give a shout out to anybody who has thrown any jewels directly in the comment section. Also shout out to some of the newer folks out there that threw some super chats directly out there for one of the other videos that I posted. Much love, respect, and appreciation. Let me see something real quick. Let me just look. Yeah, so shout out to Curly for the $2 dono. Much love, respect, and appreciation. Shout out to Officer Haku for the $5 dono. Much love, respect, and appreciation. We got Tyrone sent what was it? 100 for 2 jewels. I'm not even sure how to. Oh, okay. I think that was what's the name? Yeah, shout out to Tyrone for the 2 jewels. Shout out to Ether Empress for the 250 jewels. Shout out for another 2 jewels. And shout out to Gail giving a high 5 with 100 jewels. Much love, respect, and appreciation. Just got to check the other side real quick, just to make sure that I can get everybody listed directly up there. Let me go directly to the side real quick. Also, hopefully everybody's having a pretty good day at this moment in time. If anybody got hit by the snow, hopefully you guys are okay, safe and sound, and your power is directly up and everything of the sort. So again, shout out, much love, respect, and appreciation. I know a lot of people actually had some call outs. People were not showing up. They were like, yeah, messing with that, I'm not going into work today. It's too much snow and and all the other type of stuff going on, which it was. Like it was looking crazy out there. It was looking crazy. And I think we're supposed to get some more snow on what was it, Sunday? I think I want to say on Sunday. Wow, really, Tiffy? This woman, hold on, wait. So shout out, much love, respect, and appreciation to Tippy. I didn't know that Tippy even pulled up. To the matter of fact, I'm not even sure how long Tippy was here. I swear she just got here. I'm just gonna put it as that Tippy just got here, and she pulls this every single time. Tippy pulls this every time. Hello, Tippy. How are you doing? I see you, Tippy. I see you. Billy said you keep getting unsubscribed. Yeah. The one thing I told people before when it deals with this whole thing is that you got folks on the back end when it deals with YouTube. They'll do that to a lot of content creators. They will unsubscribe people. It is not my fault at all, but I will just say my apologies. I'm sorry that keeps happening. But again, much love and respect, to Billy, for being here, throughout a variety of live streams. Much love, respect, and appreciation. Tippy was like, I've been here for an hour. Tippy, I did not see you in the conversation. I did not see you in the conversation. Billy said, "I'm so glad I caught this live. I miss these conversations." Oh yeah. We are here. The main day that I've missed so far is yesterday. Yesterday I thought about, doing a live stream. I had some videos I did want to go over, but I'm like, let me just sit up there and work on, posting some videos and stuff. And I want to give a shout out to those who pulled up to the other two videos that I actually posted. Much love, respect, and appreciation. Like I said, I appreciate you guys a lot. And also shout out to how many do we have? Within like the last 30 days, we had about like 307 people subscribe. Shout out. Much love, respect, and appreciation. People were really having a conversation about the Black Panther Party video when they transformed into the Thundercats. Shout out to y'all. Along with the other video that I showcased to y'all earlier, where the woman wanted to say that her people were saving Black people from going back, into slavery. Shout out to a lot of y'all that pulled up to that video as well too. Like I said, it's a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff. We got quite a few people that are currently here at this moment in time. Like I said, I highly appreciate it. Highly appreciate it, because sometimes you can't really tell if your content is really reaching people or not. So we doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Let me check. I'm going back real quick. Look at the live stream. So again, shout out to Tippy. Much love, respect, and appreciation. I see you, Tippy. Billy sends love. Ty was like, let me show you the card real quick. All right, I got you. Yo, 2006. What is up? What is up? You said they messing around with the chat boxes too on live. Wait, really? Wait, what happened? What specifically happened? Tippy said you missed another live last night. I try to be on time for stuff, and I normally I be oversleeping. Let me tell you, I will I will oversleep. So that's why we didn't specifically have the one of the early morning live streams like we did before. I think when would I normally start around like 8, 9, maybe 10. So I was like, yeah. Billy was like, yo, I'm not Somalian. Y'all, that forehead runs in the family though. It'd be like that though, it'd be like that. It'd be like that. I remember quite a bit of girls who are specifically Black American and they just got foreheads. It's all good. it is all good. It is all good. Ain't nothing wrong with a woman having a forehead. It's all good. It's all good. It is all good. Man, that man Ty got snowed in. Yeah, that's crazy. That snow is directly up to the wheel. That's wild. That is wild. Yeah, y'all got hit with that snow. I mean, the same thing happened over here too. It happened over here. What Crypto said, matter of fact, if you ain't never got punched on or slapped someone that disrespected you who wasn't Black, you too nice for the chat. Let me stop. Tippy said, you mean D Money's love? No, that's what I'm talking about. I've overslept. Like I've spent like normally my day, like I wake up around I think like 4 or 5, and then I'm pretty much up for that main duration, getting stuff together, and then I put stuff together for the live, and then I got to put videos together, and then by the time I know it, it's dark, and I'm like, all right, well, I've been up for over like 10 plus hours. Gotta sit up and go to sleep. That's why I ain't been technically playing a lot of games in a sense. I've been barely playing stuff like here and there, instead of consistently, being directly on the game. It's tough out here. 2006 said, I got a 5 head and ain't no shame. No filter. What is up? You said, great cast. Ty said, man, that snow went up to my knees and I'm 6'2". Yeah, that's a lot of snow. That is a lot of snow. Let me tell you. Sonny said, the Horn of Africa. Y'all know it could have easily been called the forehead. this man still sitting up here talking about this African woman right here. Like, man, it's crazy. It is diabolical. Like I said, I miss a lot of y'all too. I'm happy to see a lot of folks. It used to be a point in time where live streams would happen and it was like few far and in between, and I would be able to see and talk to a lot of y'all. So it's good to see everybody is good and and healthy and moving around and everything of the sort. Hopefully life is treating everybody well and everything. 2006 said, I can never see chat going on when I come on lives. It seems to be only creators like your content and not everything. Yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy out here. That happens. Certain times. I think when I went to D Money's live once, it's so I think like the chat it started up a little bit slow. Like the chat was already going. For those who are already there, like it was going, but it seems like it took a minute for, I guess, YouTube to like wake up and then actually show the live chat directly on the side for me. I mean, I don't know if it might be just like a me thing because I guess maybe I'm like a monitored or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, trust me, I get what you're talking about. I get what you're saying. It was 2006 said, mine isn't that bad and my hair is long enough to cover it up. Crypto said, my hands are strained with the jawbone prints of many nations. Tippy said, I understand editing videos is not easy. It's time consuming. And Tippy said he popped in and left. Oh yeah, you talk. No. I left the what's the name on because in the background I was still trying to edit stuff directly out. Like I said, when you find videos and you have to pay very close attention to edit out a lot of curse words, some people just cuss left and right. I'm like, man, I understand like a few times, but I'm like, dog, 50? I'm like, I might not even use this video. Like, I don't even feel like doing this. I'm like, this is just doing way too much, just for a small clip. And I'm like, yeah, but you got to do it, so that way you can actually, showcase and people can have the conversation and whatnot. Because as stated before, I do understand that a lot of people don't like hearing cursing, every 5 seconds. Technically I'm right there too. Sometimes I can just overlook it because I get the emotions and what people are basically stating, but it does get to that point where it's like, man, I'm like, can we just substitute words? Can we just substitute words just for a brief second, just for a good 2 minutes, and then you can go back, to cursing. So yeah, I try to do my best to edit out a lot of stuff, whatnot. In other extents, depending on what the video is, it's even more editing because I got to do sort of a frame by frame because I got to blur and cut out certain stuff that will get picked up, and that'll cause some other issues as soon as the video is played and or posted. Like the one video that I gave, and I didn't think it was that bad, the video that I posted to you guys when I dealt with Mario. I posted that video magically, YouTube supernaturally, and it was like, nope, we got a problem with that. I'm like, word? I'm like, so for the first time when you got a woman sitting up there touching on a singer, right? Touching on the pants of a singer, now it's a problem. I'm like, you gotta be. I'm like, out of all of the times I done seen stuff posted on YouTube, this is now where the line is getting drawn. I'm like, all right, okay, you got it. So cool, no problem. Let me just go back. Let me edit the video so that doesn't show up at all. Not even like at the, you can't even technically make out the start of the video. I just made it like a replay loop. And then that, that was completely fine. So it's like, it's whatever. Like I said, I blame myself directly for that one, which I don't really feel like I was to blame for, but I'm like, I blame myself for it. And I learned. Like I said, it's always something new. So this is why it takes a while to, try to do certain videos, because you got to always well, at least for me doing this content, I have to second guess some stuff quite a bit. Every time. Billie Jean sitting up here laughing. Ty was like, me and D Money should do a run at Remnant. Yo, wait, does D Money have Remnant? I'm trying to figure out. I'm not sure if he got that. Yo, and the crazy part is it's been a minute. It's been a minute since I've actually played that game. It's been a long, long while. I can still technically, like, because you mentioned it, I still got the feeling like in my hands of like the movement and stuff, so I can kind of still get some things together. I know there's some classes that I'm missing though. Like the newer classes, I was supposed to go directly on a hunt for those and and go get those. So I was supposed to do that. Tippy said, I watch it. You should do a gaming live stream together. No, that'd be dope. That would actually be dope. That'd be pretty dope. The other thing that they just had an update directly for. Let me see if I can. Wait, where's my controller? Oh, they had a recent update. Let me see. Also, I'm just going to list. High Guard is not the game that I thought it was going to be. I just want to put that out there. That game needs work. That game needs a lot of work. I don't know what they thought when they threw that game directly out, but they gotta do something. They gotta really do something. But let me see. I'm trying to give you guys the games that recently had some updates. Path of Exiles had updates. That's another multiplayer. First Descendant, 2X KO. I think that might have had an update. Helldivers for the War Bond, that had an update. Sworn had an. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm listing games up here that people don't know nothing about, but I'm just going over stuff right now. It would be a little bit easier if I can actually showcase the games from the TV, or at least from the Xbox if I had it hooked up that way on this one. But I do not, so I can't do that for you guys, which technically sucks. But yeah, they had quite a few games that they had some updates directly up there. The people should go check and whatnot. Old School says, Seji, why is you torching us with this bush meat tether? I mean, I try to leave an image directly up there, give people something to look at. Let me see if I can get y'all a better image. Hold on, let me see. Lord, I can't even type my own name in here. Which? Okay, we'll go with that one. We will go directly with that one. It's been a minute since I've actually used that image. I will vote for Donald Trump. Do 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 do. All right. So yeah, I'll just put that one directly up there. I feel like that looks a little bit better. Yo, Shauna, what is up? What is up? Shauna said thank you. Shauna was like, I'm tired of seeing her picture directly up there too. Oh my goodness. Ty said, Sham, do you have Remnant? I don't think she got it. I don't think she got it. Sham said, what we playing? I mean, I think didn't I download some stuff on Steam? I think I did download some games. I forgot what they were at this moment in time because everything be slipping past me sometimes. and I just forget because I just be focused on this. So I couldn't even tell you what I just recently bought. So that's where we're at, right there. Most of the bush animals, primates, bats, rodents. Oh, also, I'm thank y'all for bringing up the whole thing with bats and bushmeat and stuff. There is a virus. It's only transmitted from animal to human. There's a bat virus going on over there in India. I think at this moment in time, um, I think how many people? I think they said 5 people are infected. Yeah, they said warning for travelers as airports reintroduce pandemic styles checks after bat virus outbreak in India. It is called the Nipah virus. Let's see. In West Bengal, India. Let's see. I'm trying to go to get the infections for this virus. How many people are infected? Let me see. Oh, wait, is that right now? Oh, it said as of late 2025, over 750 human cases of the Nipah virus or NIV have been recorded globally since its discovery in 1998, primarily in Bangladesh, India, Malaysia, and the Philippines and Singapore. Outbreaks are sporadic with high mortality rates ranging from 40% to 75%, frequently causing severe respiratory illness and fatal and a fatality. Let me just make sure I pronounce this right because we're not. So encephalat. Well, hold on. Like I said, we're doing a live stream, so I mess up on pronunciations. It'd be like that because we are about that life, just like I'm about to learn. Everybody else gonna learn. Okay, encephalitis. So they said encephalitis is a inflammation of the brain, most often caused by a viral infection, but it can also be triggered by an autoimmune response, bacteria, fungi, or parasite. Symptoms range in general. Fever, headaches is more serious issues like confusion, seizures, paralysis, and coma. Long-term effects can include memory problems, fatigue, seizures, and change of personality, mood, and behaviors. The duration and the severity of the illness depends on the cause, the speed of the diagnosis, the treatment, and the individual's response to care. Okay. But yeah, that's people got to be careful directly about there. See, I'm just putting that directly out there because also there's quite a bit of stuff that I scan over online and I happen to see articles and stuff. I just don't do videos about it like I would normally do. Because anytime I'll read something to y'all, some of y'all know that's been here long enough. Anytime I'll read something, bam, video. just putting it directly up there because I'm like, all right, well, I just learned about it. Y'all should know about this too. Sonny said no cap, but this is my first time hearing about this, and I instinctively believe this is the next one. Sham said, do I have Remnant as a game? Yeah. Oh snap, Sham actually got it. She got Remnant. Wait, didn't I? Wait, Sham, didn't I play that with you before? I think. Ty said, Sham, we can play Remnant 2. I want to say SEIJIHITO. I'm just gonna say 40 because again, I butcher names out here. 40 said, we'll be talking about technically a variety of things at this moment. I was talking about some stuff dealing with gaming, and then things ended up switching because of a conversation happened in the comment section, and it automatically made me think about the bat virus that's going on overseas in India. And just trying to put a warning out there directly about it. Let me see. Let me see, 2026. See what we got directly up here. They got screenings. Okay, so in 2026, dealing with the bat virus, they said that India says only 2 cases have been confirmed. Now, see, the problem with this is, now before they said 2 cases, I heard somewhere else that it was 5. That it was about 5 cases. Yeah. So minus the mainstream media thing. When you type in how many people are infected by the Nympha virus in 2026, you're going to get the stories where it talks about it triggers airport screenings, the virus, where is it found, stuff of that nature. And then you might see DW.com. It'll say that only 2 cases, and that's as of like 3 hours ago, right? Looking at this. So when you scroll down, at least for me when I scroll down, it says which virus is spreading now in India, and they tell you the Nympha virus. They say, quote unquote, there are 2 confirmed cases, and I just seen, trying to go back to where it said 5. Let me see. It was just up here. Yeah, it says when you type it in, it says as of January 27th of 2026, there are conflicting reports regarding the exact number of confirmed nymphovirus infections in West Bengal, India, with reports citing either 5 cases or 2 cases. At this moment in time, you might as well just on the safe bet, you might as well just sit up and say 10, because that's a huge jump. If other people are saying it's 2, and then other people saying that it's 5, you might as well just put it to 10. I'm just gonna be real, because you're dealing with a virus that has a detrimental effect on the person. And as they stated before, from what I read off to you, especially when it deals with the type of care, the response that the body may have, the screening, and different things of that sort. You might as well just, I don't know. You might as well just try to shut a lot of stuff down to slow this down. This is why I used to give you guys videos before. If you are a gamer, you know what this game is, which it is called Plague Inc. If you've never played that game was wasn't it used by who to test out viruses? Let me see. I got Plague Inc. Let me see. Used. Yeah. So World Health Organization, WHO, and public health experts, the WHO collaboration with endemic creations to develop Plague Inc., the cure, a mode where players act as a global health organization to stop a pandemic. Experts from the WHO, Global Outbreak Alert and Response Network, or GORN, and Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, or CEPI, have used this to promote understandings of vaccines, disease prevention, and health and public health management. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or the CDC, back in 2013, the CDC invited the creators of Plague Inc., James Vaughan, to speak about how the game's model diseases spread and how it can be used to educate the public on epidemiology concepts. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, there is that. So yeah, like I said, for me, Plague was a very fun game. I still love it directly to this day. Main areas, if you want to infect anything, UK, because that is a gateway directly up there. Even though once it starts making it to to Greenland and Iceland, borders start getting closed real quick. If something makes it direct or starts with the UK, borders are closed real quick. They're like, yeah, we're not doing this. Now, if you're dealing with Africa, India, China, South America, and maybe potentially the United States, it'll probably be a little bit easier. America's a little bit different because the news is spread a little bit quicker. Africa is a little bit more of a petri dish because technology and stuff going from area to area is a little bit different. Awareness and education about diseases and stuff. Again, a lot of this stuff in a sense models real life and how information and stuff will move, which will then impact how a disease or a fungus or different things can basically spread from person to person. India, yeah, it's just spreading. There's nothing I can tell you. It's just moving. It's nothing that you can. It's nothing you can sit up there and do. When it deals with the Caribbean, stuff is getting shut down because it's pretty much either by air or by boat. So once something is basically happening on an island and it's spread, everything is locked off. So it's no more cruises, it's no more airplanes going to and from. That whole thing is just like shut down. But yeah. Like I said, if people wanted to learn certain things about viruses and how things move, download Plague Inc. and just take your time and play that. It'll give you a very helpful understanding on how a lot of these things will move. That's the best way I can sit up there and put it. Will said it only has Remnant 2. I have the first one and the second one, and I beat both of them. Now it's just the DLC, even though I wish they didn't stop at just 3 DLCs. They could have just kept it going. I guess maybe they might do a part 3 possibly, which would be dope. But maybe hopefully they'll allow some stuff to transfer over. But I gotta hold my breath on that, because if they do a Remnant 2 like they're doing a State of Decay 3, it's going to be on Unreal Engine 5. So whatever might have been on 4, maybe it might not transfer over asset wise. I don't know. Sham said, how many people can play in a group? Should be about 3. Should be like 3 people should be able to play directly in a group. Sonny said Batman must be out there slinging, and now he got them burning. Man, try to do a play on words real quick. Batman got them. I got you. I see you. I see you out here. Gotham burn. I got you. See you out here. Billy said we had an outbreak in Florida in the early 2000s, and they stated that the mosquitoes were spreading it. Ooh, that's crazy. Sham said, Indian, don't go there. That place is the originator. The foot and the food, toe jam and all. So he said you'll catch something just for playing in India on Street Fighter 5. That's crazy. That is wild. That is wild. That's 100% wild. But yeah. That's pretty much where we at. That is pretty much where we are at. That's crazy. That man crypto funny. But yeah, pretty much yeah, we can just go to, I guess, with Discord, I guess, because I can just let this sit live stream wise, and I'll probably post a video. Do I got a video up here that I can give you guys at the moment? Actually, I don't. Wait, what's today's date? Oh, today's the 27th. All right, yeah. So I actually gotta put a video up there for y'all. so probably gotta give me a minute and put something together, and then put it directly out there and stuff. But yeah, whatever y'all playing, we can sit up there and try it out. I probably just gotta go on the system upstairs, and do I still have it downloaded? That's the other problem. Ooh, I forgot about that. That's a problem, because I think I just re-downloaded was it Marvel Route? Yeah, I forgot. So yeah, I'm gonna have to probably make some space to re-download it. Sonny said you'll be bedridden if you're not careful navigating India in the Tomb Raider. Yeah, That's bars. Sham said a little truth, racist, but they put a foot in their food, stirring it with toes and all. Yeah, like those India videos, it would be great if somebody was like, yeah, all of that was just AI. That would be great if somebody said that, but that's just not the case. That's just not the case. Get was like, it's for the flavor. Yo, that is crazy. This man, Sonny said the uncharted pandemic. Wow. That's wild. Crypto says, well, I wasn't wrong. That is crazy. But yeah, much love, respect, and appreciation. Though. Much love, much love. I'm going for about a good 3 hours and 28 minutes. I'm going to let y'all have at it. It's about a good 409. So y'all got the, a good portion of daylight, directly out there. So y'all can go out there and chill with your your friends and your family and stuff like that. So again, much love, respect. But what did Sham say? She said, I mean, good to where. Wait. Wait, did you mean that you can cook good to where? Wait. Okay, yeah, you say you can cook good to where I put my foot in it, but that's not literal. The bacteria in this food, you can be out real quick. Yeah, that's true. That's true. What was it? Crypto said even dudes on Baki wanted to taste the feet. LOL. That's crazy. M Hampton, what is up? What is up? We said peace later and thank you and much love to SEIJIHITO, the mods, and the chat. Sham said, yes, I'm sorry. I'm pretty sick still. No, it's all good, Sham. It's all good. It's all good. It just threw me off real quick. I'm like, wait a minute, what is she raising? I was trying to put it together real quick. I'm like, oh man. Oh my goodness. Crypto said, get well at Sham. Get well. But yeah, I'm gonna let y'all have at it. I'm gonna put 1 or 2 videos directly together for you guys so I can have those, pushed out for you. And then I guess y'all will probably catch me in whoever's Discord and probably playing something. Possibly. Maybe. If I'm not asleep. So yeah, I'll catch you guys later. See you guys in the next video and or live stream. Peace out.